All right, mic check, mic check. Motor Masters Podcast, y'all's made up calls. I got a special guest across from me, man. I got Mr. Will Avery. How you doing?
Good, man. Thanks for finally having me.
I know, man. I told David, COVID is the reason why we didn't do it last time. I remember Chad. I asked Chad or Chad Reed. I forgot.
Yep.
And he was like, "Yeah." And then COVID happened. I was like, "I can't be in a room with people right now. I don't know."
Right.
And I worked at Lowe's at the time, so I don't know if I was gonna bring something there. So I just like,
Right.
nah, we're just. But I always envisioned, and I know it's funny doing it nowadays, but we tried the best we could. I would assume. I always envisioned interviewing you, but it was gonna be at Westside Old Gym. But it's just hard to get gyms sometimes. So I was like, you know what? Just do it at my studio. We're gonna do it here. We're gonna knock it out. So, well, welcome to the show, though.
Appreciate it, man.
So how we do here. Well, let me ask David. You ain't got any reading off this time, do you?
No, nothing right now. No.
We started with Noble, and David read like 5 pages out of his diary and stuff. So you're trying to make Noble's cry before we started the episode. So I want to make sure. Yeah, so how we do here, and I'm sure you heard some of the episodes I do. I kind of just get people's story, and then in the mix of that, we may have conversations, just banter over basketball, and kind of like what was the time like back then, and just your perspective of things. So without further ado, I'll start off with the list. Can I start with that, please?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I had Ashley Brown here, and obviously he spoke about you. I never knew that. Well, 2 things. I know you had one, but I didn't know who your dad was. So, and also I didn't know your dad was who your dad was either. I heard of you through my brother, young playing AAU.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I'm a Duke fan. I heard of him before, but I was a Duke fan after you. Jay Williams I became a Duke fan from there.
Yeah.
But when I heard that your dad played as well and went to West Side, right? If I'm mistaken.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well that make a lot of sense then, So let's talk about just that. Like, what was that for you? Like growing up, like being a kid of a guy who played ball as well.
That was my first real inspiration, and where I found the love for the game. My dad used to have my dad's like is a real organized guy, like OCD, like in everything he does. Like he keeps a washcloth in his car. He ride down the street, he's dusting the dashboard, he's cleaning things. So he kept a real organized, just shoebox full of newspaper clippings, photo album full of newspaper clippings. And so when I was around like 5 years old, I just would go there and just read stuff. And that's actually where I learned a lot of Augusta's basketball history, just reading like box scores and old newspaper clippings and stuff like that. So I was like, dang, Dad, as I got older, like you was good. What happened? Why you didn't go to college? And all that kind of stuff. And, he would, tell me, I had you. And, I wanted to be here for you and things like that. But no, it was great because when I was young, he still could play. He still would like go play pickup, and I would go watch. And it was cool to see your dad out there, doing things, killing people, stuff like that. It was cool. But, my whole family was a basketball playing family. My uncle, Mimi, who, if you ask anybody, he was that dude. Back in the day, like I remember Mike Stokes telling me like his freshman year, it was the first game they played him. My uncle goes for 36. He tries to take a charge. My uncle tries to dunk on him. And he was like going into that next year, my uncle was the #1 rated player in the state, and he didn't even play anymore. He was just done, But my dad lost both parents his senior year in high school 6 months apart. So I think that played a big part in him not going on to college as well. And so my Uncle Mimi, him playing, and he didn't have parents. So it's kind of tough, to keep going. But yeah, man, I got it honestly, great, DNA. And it's been good.
Just on tangent, just because I like to listen when people talking. You said something just now, and this is more in relation to your dad. Did he ever speak to you about like how he dealt with that, like with his parents passing and being so young, like that? Senior high school, that's a very young age.
Yeah,
Like who helped with that process of with even picking the school to go to and not going to a school and then having you? That's a lot of pressure for an 18-year-old.
And it was kind of different because what he would say is there wasn't a lot of people really going to college at that time. Their version of success was you graduate high school, you go get a good job. You know, so it wasn't a lot of people just, oh man, I had such and such come watch me play. I got an offer. It wasn't a lot of that going on. I think later on, a few years later, you know, Gerald White really brought a lot of attention to the area, and he really was the first one to pick a big school and go and have some success. But my dad would always say nobody was really doing that.
That's deep. That's very deep. Just talk about for you, like even maybe now, even as a youngster, like did you appreciate like the fact that you had that supportive system, which maybe your dad was cut short of that, but you had that like something to look up to, maybe push for college, push to go to the pros.
It's funny you say that because, you know, anybody from the Hill, my neighborhood, you know, they know the reputation of my family and my uncles. And I was fighting, you know, to really make it, you know, because a lot of them had talent, you know, whether it's basketball or golf. You know, I had one uncle really good in that, and all of them chose different routes, right? So I had a chip on my shoulder at a young age to be the first Avery, like to make it. And then there's a funny story. So when I'm about, I don't know, 10, 11, I learned that my great uncle, who just was inducted into the Caddy Hall of Fame, caddied for all 4 of Arnold Palmer's Masters.
Clap it up for him.
And so I'm like, wow, we don't talk about that more. Like, you know, I don't know. I was like, I don't know if at that time, if an achievement is greater than that at the time when I'm young, you know, because more than the Masters podcast, like that's all we had was the Masters. You know what I mean? I'm like, and my uncle's won 4, and we're not talking about that. Yeah,
That's deep.
yeah,
That is deep. Yeah. You think about that, like how we push certain sports, or a certain sport we just kind of like don't look at, or we don't look at as success. It's like, oh, I don't know about it, so it's whatever.
right.
But yeah, we got to change that. But even now, even like with baseball, I see that with baseball a lot. Like we got a lot of kids that don't play baseball, but it's one of the highest paid sports too. You know,
Right. And we got a guy from here, Dexter Kelly, that's a major league umpire.
See, I didn't know that. Clap it up for him. So I think what I like about doing this too, like I told David last night, we interviewed Nobles, is just the history we get when y'all telling y'all story. Y'all don't really know because it's y'all life. You know, y'all lived it. Y'all just telling us. But then we get all these stories, you know, like your uncle Mimi, never heard of him, but now I'm gonna go look it up, you know, and talk and hear about him. And we'll just go back to the list a second. That's not the ranking of it, but why I thought it was important. I think people looked at the numbers too much, in my opinion. Even when I interviewed Ashley Brown, which I feel like was phenomenal, I think people look at the numbers and the rankings too much and not the history. And this man didn't just know basketball sports. He know all sports in high school. Like he covered all of them. And I think that's important too. So when somebody sit here saying and trying to challenge him on like a ranking, it's like, bro, you don't watch sports. You know the 4 years you played and that's it. But so I want to get to you. So you talk about being from the Hill. So talk about life when you were younger. Like what was life like for you? Born and raised here, I'm assuming. So your mom, your dad, you got other siblings?
Yeah, it was, you know, I have one other sibling here and 2 in Ohio, but, you know, life was challenging. You know, I was born to teenage parents. You know, mom was 17, dad was 19. Yeah, they had me in high school. Same teachers that taught them at West Side taught me at West Side. You know,
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it was challenging though because you know, you're faced with some difficult odds, but all of that drove me to be successful. Like I never really get to tell this story, and so the way I started playing organized basketball was my auntie Donna had a job at May Park. And so when I was about 7, 8 years old, when I get off the school bus at 3 o'clock, I was too young to stay at home alone. So I was taught to catch the city bus from the Hill to May Park. So I would get off the school bus at 7 years old, catch the Sand Hills bus, which took me down the Green Street where the bus station was, and I would get a transfer, which back then was a quarter. A lot of guys probably even know what a transfer is, right? The city bus. And I would take that bus, I would get on the 4th Street bus from Green Street, and it would let me off right at May Park. And so I was in there. It was basically so my aunt could watch me. But I was, I love basketball, so I'm in the gym just shooting around. And a guy by the name of Donald McGahee, who's passed away, God, rest his soul. And he ended up being a fireman. But he was like, hey, young fella, you want to play? I was like, I got to go ahead and ask my aunt. So I asked my aunt. She's like, yeah, it's cool. And she was like, but this is the way you're going to have to get here. I was like, all right, I'm good with that. And so Donald McGahee was my first organized basketball coach. And so literally, man, I would be getting off the city bus with like my rec jersey on a hanger, I don't want to wrinkle, you know what I mean? And the reason I wear number 5, because that was my first time playing, and that's the number they gave me.
Oh, they just gave it to you.
Yeah, they just gave it to me. Yeah. And I was like, I'm gonna rock with that. It's just my introduction to organized basketball.
That's dope.
I'm gonna keep that going. I played with the Hawks. I never forget it, man. We lost every game. we lost every game, man.
It's not a build-up story, is
it? But we would lose games like 14-13. I have all 13. And so Bo, who's a legend, man, and I wouldn't be who I am without him. And so Bo had the best team, not just at May Park, but maybe in Augusta. Everybody, Bo, get the best players and do all that. So guess where I'm going next? So, I'd never forget they're in the championship game. And back then, I don't know how they do it now, but back then, to win the rec championship, you take, the top 2 teams from West Augusta, top 2 from South Augusta, top 2 from East Augusta, and one site hosts it annually. And that used to be a big deal because at some point at May Park, like, we used to sweep them. We'll win every age group, and it was a big deal. But they're playing in the championship game. I'll never forget it, they're playing against Wendell Lofton, played at Butler. But Wendell was big-time rec player, big time. And he let me sit on the bench for the game. He was like, I want you to sit here because, next few years you're going to be in these games. And I sat there, and they lost. And I never forget, like, in the locker room after the game, Bo crying. And he was like, Will, you're going to win the championship for me. And the next couple of years we did, but Bo really, really made me work. He wasn't a guy like telling me how good I was. It was always something I could work on. And he didn't just coach me in basketball, he coached me in baseball. He coached me in football. I say coach, technically he wasn't supposed to coach. but I go. But
it's the 90s, man.
He really molded me, man, and gave me the work ethic, and not gave me the work ethic, but just pushed me to work even harder. Mm-hmm. And he really believed in me, that I could go, I could really go places.
You mentioned a lot of things just now, like, what did your dad say when he found out you were playing basketball? Because you mentioned like the clippings. Did you really see the clippings at that point?
Yeah. So I didn't live under the same roof with my mom and dad, and so my daddy found out I was playing. I mean, he was happy, but he was still young. He was trying to figure out himself. So he would come sometimes, and and then eventually he went to Ohio and he worked there. So he missed pretty much all of it, but we would talk, and I remember he would be like, at some point he thought it was too much pressure. I was like, nah, this is what I want. I can handle it,
You live with your mom though, or no? Not your mom?
Yeah.
Okay.
I lived with my mom, at that time, yeah.
Well, could you, so now knowing that make a lot of sense. But the chip you had on your shoulder, though, did you ever feel like, because you seen some clippings, because you seen some things in your dad, that you would either people would put you like in his shadow, or you had to make a name for yourself and do it your own way?
I could tell you that the Avery last name got me some attention, where we're gonna pay attention to him and see if he's as good as the rest of them. But for me, I call them bar setters. I always had a guy who I was chasing. I call him bar. I always had a bar setter, And so when I find that guy, now I'm chasing him and I'm trying to go above him. Then once I get there, I find another one.
Got you.
And so when I was young, it was Rick, because he was in my neighborhood, Ricky Moore. We stayed on the same street. And, he was good. So
Real quick, hold on, I'm sorry. Y'all stay on the same street?
Same
What's the
street.
odds of that? Like, that's crazy. Like, I mean, I know about the history, but the same street?
same street, Hazel Street on the hill, same
That's
street.
wow. I'm sorry, keep going. That's crazy. I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, so Rick was the guy at middle school. So, he wears 21 at Tut. So I go to Tut, I wear 21. And then we're playing together at Westside, obviously. I want to go back to 5. Well, Troy Tillman, Amari Tillman's father, has number 5. And people don't understand, I didn't think I was going to start as a freshman at Westside. I was happy. I was like, man, I just want to make varsity because they were coming off runner-up in the region. They lost to Thompson and Montego in the region championship, but they made the quarterfinals. And you have the same backcourt, which one is a senior and one is a junior. So I'm 5'10", 150. And I'm like, I'm going to hope to make the team.
You hoping to make the team?
Yeah, I just want to be on varsity, you know what I mean? I'm like, man, I just hope I make varsity. And so what happened is Troy plays football. He's never played football before, but his senior year he wants to play football. And so
You can't make this up, can you?
yeah. This is the evolution of Will Avery right here. I'm about to give it to you live. And so he plays football, and I'm still like, okay, when he gets back, he's gonna start. So playing, picking up everything, and Coach Wright comes to me, says, Will, the football players are getting ready to come back. But right now, this is your position. Now, if he come in here and he beats you out, that's something different. So I was like, I bet.
That was all you need to hear.
Yeah. And we go, man, and the first game of the season, you're nervous, whatever. I'm just like, man, I just want to come in here, not make any mistakes. And I have 23. The first game, my freshman year, I have 23. And we win.
Who y'all played?
We're playing Evans. Now, back then, Evans was tough because you only had Evans, Lakeside, and Harlem in Columbia County.
Right.
So they're tough. And we beat them. And usually Westside and Evans would split. Had a guy named Chad Dolander in the past, but he could really go. And so we beat them. The next night, we got ARC. And so I go for 27.
It's home or away?
It's home.
Okay.
So I go for 27. But we lose, Tyshawn hits a shot at the buzzer and beats us. Only 2 points he scored the whole game.
Who's guarding him?
It was me. Yeah.
Well, come on, man.
It was me. And so
He trying to brush past it like, yeah, you hear the buzzer beater.
Nah, I'm gonna keep it real with you. It was me. And so I got lazy on D. I'm like, he ain't scored all games. No way he making this shot. He makes a shot and they beat us. But that ARC team was the best team in the state that year. They beat us both times in the regular season. I think both of them may even been overtime. They beat us both times. They were loaded. I mean, they were bringing, Ty and Kiki and maybe even Oliver Ollie off the bench. I mean, they were loaded. And then we get to the sub-region. We beat them. So back then, we only taking 2 teams out the region to the state. So now you have in the semis of the region, you got ARC Thompson, Westside. I think we played maybe Josie. We played them a good bit, but Thompson beats Richmond. So the best team in the state is eliminated. They beat them, and that set up the first monumental Thompson Westside game. That set up the first one. And we end up beating them. I shot a 3 and it got tipped by Antron Lee. Rick rebounds it and puts it back at the buzzer to beat him. And so it was crazy. So that was the first one. That set up next year's game that everybody talks about. But so I go on, man. I have a great freshman year. And had to find me a bar setter, right? So it was Rick, but now I'm getting exposed to more. All right, so okay, I'm watching Rick. Rick worked. He really worked. And so I'm watching the things he do, the way he led us. He was great. Just being around him every day helped me a lot.
How much older was he than you, like
He
grade-wise?
was two grades ahead of me.
So you never played with him in middle school then? Because back then, 6th grade couldn't play.
Couldn't play. Yep, right.
So you came in 6th, he was a senior. He was a
eighth grader. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Got you.
And so, that's really how I got my first letter, because in the 9th grade, back then, letters was a big deal.
Yeah, it mattered back then, yeah.
Yeah. Now you just talk
hold
about
them, put them in a box.
Yeah,
that's a tweet.
Yeah. It was
Instagram post.
Funny story about letters. I know I'm going all over the place here, but let's get back to the letter thing. So 9th grade, he's in 11th grade. Coaches come in preseason to watch guys. So Rick, it's got coaches from everywhere coming in. And so that's the first time they get to see me. So it's like, man, it was just freshman. We're just playing pickup. And so letters start coming in, man. I'm like, it's funny because I never saw any of this. I never thought, true story. I'm going to the guidance counselor office, like filling out questionnaires to send to colleges. Before I get up, I remember the first one I sent was like to Lander.
Wow.
Hey, yeah, I like to play basketball, but
before season started?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm just hoping to get into college. I ain't thinking I'm gonna get a scholarship or nothing like that. You don't know, right? And so letters start coming in. I'm like, damn, well, maybe I am good enough to do this. The first letter was Georgia. First one. And then they just kept going, and I'm in like midway through the school year, calling me to the office to pick up mail. So, you want everybody to see your letter, so you stick them in your back pocket of your jeans. Yeah, you're walking through the hall, stick them in your back pocket. You can put them anywhere. You can put them in your book bag. You want to turn it so the logo is on the outside. You stick them in your back pocket, and you walking through. Man,
like having a tag on your jeans or something.
Yeah, that was the thing. The letters.
It's just
and then you get into class, you put them on the desk. Now your classmates want to look at them and read them. Now we have social media, so that's the way you had to flex. Your back pocket, put it on your desk.
That's dope.
But no, man. So freshman year was really good. Learned a lot. Got exposed to a lot. So now had to find back to the bar setters. Now I see this guy, Stephon Marbury. He's in Rickland class. Now one point comes like, dang, this dude is good. Now I'm chasing that. Like, how can I be the number one point guard in my class? So I got to find the guys in my class, like Kobe Bryant with the kill list. I got to find a kill list. So I got to find these guys. And it was, at the time, was a guy named Kenny Bruner from Compton, Dominguez. And so I'm studying, like, man, how did this guy get up there? He's like 5'9", stocky guy. And found out Compton Dominguez played Oak Hill when he was a freshman. And Oak Hill was like the school, And they stuck him in the game, and they just went 1-4 flat the whole night. And he was able to get in the paint, make some plays, score, get some dimes, and everybody was on Kenny Bruner. He was number one point guard at the time when I was young in my class. And I was another guy named Kevin Augustine, both Cali guys. It's like, all right, that's who I'm chasing. So playing AAU with the Georgia Stars, which is the only AAU team I really played for, Georgia Stars. So I'm playing with them like, hey, coach, we need to play in events with Kenny Bruner and Kevin Augustine. We need to figure out where they at.
You went to them and asked them that?
My coach, we got to figure out where they at. I got to play against them. But back then, AAU wasn't as big. The directors do a great job with matching those guys up. It wasn't that back then.
But real quick, with the Georgia Star, that was a team out of Atlanta, though, all right? Oh, no.
So let's talk about it. So everybody says that's a team out of Atlanta. So here's how Georgia Stars was founded. So I was playing with Bo, who I mentioned earlier, with Stokeland Temple. Same rec sponsor. We was playing AAU with that. So Stokeland Temple, Georgia Stars was originally the Daresville Colonels, out of Daresville, Georgia. All right. We beat the Daresville Colonels in the state playoffs. Back then, you only took 2 teams to nationals, AAU national. You had to be the champion and runner-up in your state. That's the only way you got to national. You couldn't just pay and go.
Got you.
And so it was what's now the Atlanta Celtics, used to be the Atlanta Warriors. So now the Atlanta Celtics. So we beat the Daresville Colonels, and then we had to play the Atlanta Celtics. They were the Atlanta Warriors in the semis. We lose. Daresville Colonels beats Sam Lilly's team from here, from Augusta, and they beat them. So those are the two teams going to nationals. And so Norman Parker is coaching the Daresville Colonels, who runs the Georgia Stars still to this day. And so Norman Parker calls Bo, like, hey, I would love to have Will Avery. And back then I was William Avery, you know. and so Bo calls me, and I'm a real loyal dude. And I'm like, nah, I ain't playing with them. You know, we beat them. Let's just keep building what we got. You know, we'll get them next time, you know. Bo looking at me like, look, man, I've done everything I can do. It's time. Time for what? You got to go. You got to go with this dude. He's going to be able to get you to the places that you need to go and get you in front of the people that need to see you. All right, so I'm joining the Daresville Colonels. You know, we got on these yellow tank tops with a colonel on it, you know, seriously. And so a few months later, we changed the name to the Georgia Stars. So I was the first Georgia Star ever, like first team ever.
Wrap it up for you, man. Look, history.
Yeah.
And I just asked one simple question. I ain't know all that. I'm just making sure, you know. Because I hate that. It's always, Georgia Stars is always like counted with like success too. Like it's a successful team. You get on that team, you must be somebody.
So I'm the first guy, first pro, you know, first of the Georgia Stars. And, you know, and I stayed there the whole time. You know, I never left. And, you know, Norman has been like a father to me. He was a part of every big decision I ever made, you know, where I was going to college, you know, leaving school, you know, everything. He was at the draft table with me. You know.
But before I get to the temp, I know we're gonna be chronological. I do want to ask a few questions real quick. And Dave, you got any questions? You know, you can ask if you want to. But I know we kind of skipped over like middle school. Just if you can talk about. I know you had like people you wanted to be like, but what were you like in middle school player wise? What were they saying while like far as like rank? I know we talked before. It's different times, so maybe it wasn't a big deal back then, but. To coaches, it was like everybody saying Will was that guy. We knew Will was gonna be this before he even. They just knew. What was it like for you in middle school while playing sports? Before you got to 9th grade?
You know, I was just hooping, man. I knew I had a lot of work I needed to do, and I was just trying to add something to my game every year. You know, I was small, skinny kid. I could always shoot it. You know, I know I needed to work on my handle. I need to work on defending. So I was just trying to get better. You know, I was hooping. You know, I know we talked earlier. You know, just talk about my big scoring nights, but I never got complacent with that.
Well, how'd you feel after those nights though? Like, was it enough for you to be excited, or you just like, oh, I just scored 36. I'm going to go to sleep now?
I wanted more, man. I wanted more. You know, I knew. You know, I was like, all right, that was good, but I really was trying to win the championship in middle school, and I knew. You know, Murphy was loaded. And I was like, man, I got to figure out a way to get him.
Yeah.
I got to get him. So I wasn't worried about the big scoring. Like, it was cool. Like, you know, I was excited. You know, had success.
I mean, is it cool like the next day in school? Like,
it's cool back then. They would put it in the paper. So
that's what I seen you.
Yeah. They would put it in the paper, and all that stuff was cool. But I knew it was more work to do.
Did you keep those clippings like when you're in middle school?
I did, yeah.
Did you like,
man? I had a good run where I kept it, then it just got too much.
See, look at that flex. He's still flexing in 2026, man. This is crazy, man. Like, would you call your dad and tell him like it was shown? Like, were you excited to tell your dad about this stuff? Like,
my uncle would always clip it and send it to him.
Okay.
And it was good, man. I remember the first time I saw my name being ranked in a magazine. I saw it in the USA Today after my sophomore year. I was top 10 sophomores in the country. And it's newspaper, though. I remember...
In the country?
In the country, top
not
10.
Just Georgia,
Nah, in the
not
country.
just Pete Georgia Road to Burke County.
Nah.
I just see us already.
In America.
In America.
Top 10. Yeah.
Still flexing. Keep going. That's all good.
But still work to do. All right, so we get back to school. I go to ABCD Adidas camp in Teaneck, New Jersey. First time was in a big camp. And I come out of there in one magazine, Athlon Sports Magazine, College Preview. Kid had it in the gym. We're getting ready to practice. And he's like, Will, they got you 14th in the country. And this right here changed my life, what I'm about to tell you. So my high school coach is in there. So he sees it. He looks at me. He's like, 14th, huh? So somebody think there's 13 people your age better than you. Mm. That comment stuck with me for the rest of my career. So anybody else, you're looking at 14th in the country, you're pretty good. You know, you're going to get 5 different publications. It's going to be different stuff. But the school saw the 14th. Last year, I saw the top 10 in the USA Today, and my coach commented on this magazine. And that drove me, man. And so I was trying to get the one.
You took that personal.
Yeah. I was trying to get the one. And at the end of during my junior season, I got to the number 1 point guard in the country, and I was 5th overall. Yeah, I gotta send you that, man, so you can fact check it.
Nah, I know you will.
I know some of y'all don't like to believe stuff, man. So I'm
definitely not a believer.
Get that.
Send that to me, man. I came in.
Yeah, man. And so now it's like, okay, what now? You know, what now? Who's got to find me a bar setter? You know, got to find me a bar setter, man. And so it was. Then that time it was when AI and Stephon was going at it in college. You know, Georgia Tech, Georgetown. I was like, I want to be on that level. I want to be a guy that leaves school early, get to the league, that kind of stuff. I'm coming, you know. So it was like none of the other stuff matters anymore. It's just let's go out here and get better. Let's win, and let's get to that level where those guys are.
I got a question because I want. I don't know if you want to ask this question, then, but like you mentioned like bar setting. So I didn't want to brush past that. You set your bar at Marbury after your 9th grade year.
Yeah.
What'd that mean at 9th grade? Did you feel like I passed Ricky? I got Ricky already? Was that what your mindset?
Marbury was in the same class with Ricky, and he was the number 1 point guard.
Gotcha.
In that class. So I looked at him. I want to be the number 1 point guard in my class.
Got you.
You know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where it was at. Yeah.
Just making sure. You know, I'm trying to keep tabs. I got more questions later on, so we'll keep them tabs.
Keep it going. Yeah.
All right, and so you said now. So this is after 11th grade year. You ranked 14th.
No, that was
10th
10th.
grade.
Yeah.
10th grade.
11th grade I was 5th. Yeah.
In the nation.
Yeah.
Okay, so 11th grade you 5th in the nation. Now, obviously, we all know you don't graduate from West Side.
Right.
So what happens after that? You 5th now. So now what? You come back home and what?
Yeah. So, you know, my high school coach surprised me, man, and decided to take another job in Tennessee. So I'm like, dang, I can't go into my senior year just with anybody. You know, he ain't gonna know my game. you know,
Yo, that's funny.
I can't do that. And so I went to the AD like, hey man, I don't have any input. Oh yeah. He told me no. he told me no.
About the class,
he looked at me like, man, you a kid, you get out of here. But he told me no. So I was like, all right, I gotta do what I can do, you know. Call Norman Parker. Hey coach, you know, we gotta figure this out. I don't know what we gonna hire. You know, I never thought like Oak Hill. You know, I didn't know. I didn't know if Norman was gonna call the AD and say, hey, you know, I would recommend this. And so I was telling Norman, like, man, I would love to get Buck over there. I love to get Buck over here, Buck Harris.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Look at that history. Buck Harris.
Yes,
I
love
Buck.
to get Buck, but, you know, wasn't happening. Norman called me one day. He was like, well, we're playing in the Bob Givens this weekend. He was like, Oak Hill's coming to watch you. And first game, we're playing at UNC, playing against Kenny Gregory, went to Kansas. You know, great player, great college player. And I go for like 40 and 14. And I didn't know, you know, Oak Hill was going to be there that game, but I just, you know, it's Bob Givens. Bob Givens was the one who ranked me 5th, you know, 5th on his list. And everybody rocked with Bob because Bob was the only guy when that class was coming out of high school, he was the only guy that voted for Jordan Player of the Year over Patrick Ewing, and everybody thought he was crazy. And then the rest is history. So it's like, man, he's got an eye for talent. So everybody respected Bob Givens' rankings. So I was fifth, and I'm here. It's like, this man that put me fifth. I got to do my thing,
Yeah. Did you respect it, being fifth?
Who respected it?
Did you respect it? Like the other 4 guys, did you respect?
I was
the
still
5?
coming for him. I mean, fifth was cool. I was the number 1 point guard. I was still coming, but one was like Lamar Odom. Chris Burgess was big time back then. He could really go. Elton Brand was up there. Shane ended up being my teammate. So
Yeah, both of them.
yeah.
Interesting.
It was an interesting list. Yeah.
It's so crazy sitting across from a guy that could just say these names like they just nobody. Not they nobody, but they just peers of yours,
Yeah,
but to us, they like we
my
play in the
guys.
games.
My guys, we won a lot of games together.
Yeah, man. Jeez,
My
Elton
guys.
Brand, Shane Battier, Lamar.
But yeah,
Odom.
so I'm trying to get the one, and then after the tournament, like, look, we won him. Oak Hill is, the basketball powerhouse. Like, you get a chance to Oak Hill, you take it. It was Steve Smith's legend. So I was like, I'm out. I'm going. Nobody believed me. Nobody tried. Like, we'll not leave at West Side. Like, nobody believed me. Not teachers, not anybody. It's like, all right. So I go to summer school to Oak Hill. The coach called me like, yeah, you should come to summer school. Got some guys here. We can work out. We'll go to Nike camp together. And on that, like, I was an Adidas guy because ABCD had got me going. And here's where the politics come in. It's like, look, I know you're Adidas guy, Will, but Oak Hill's the biggest Nike high school. I can't have my best player going to Adidas. With Nike school, that's not gonna be a good look. So I'm like, all right, I gotta go to Nike. And on that, man, y'all unpacking a lot here, man. I didn't talk about this a lot. So let's go back to before I make the move to Oak Hill. So I've been Adidas sponsoring the school. George Ravlin, the legendary George Ravlin, just passed away. God bless him. Flies into West Side. Myself, my mom, principal, high school coach, AD, Coach Matt Gray, Aubrey's granddad. We're sitting in this meeting.
Look at that history.
And George Ravlin says, I'm gonna make this easy. Will goes to Nike camp. I sponsor the whole school, every sport. Nike takes over, sponsor every sport. And I'm like, and I remember Coach Matt Gray said, football is like every sport. Every sport. And so I'm like, all right, this is done. I'm staying here. We're going to Nike. That was before the Oak Hill thing, before Coach
left.
And when I say, man, Nike took care of me, like, they sent me and my high school coach so much stuff. Some days we would come to school dressed alike. Like, it was crazy. They would just send me. Adidas did the same thing, but Nike.
Nike, man.
It's different.
Nike is Nike.
Just boxes and boxes of gear, and so I was excited about that. But then Coach hit me with, "I'm leaving," and
I wonder what made him leave after y'all just got sponsored. Like,
yeah, man, you never know.
And I wonder how much gear he got before he left.
Right.
He knew he was leaving. Let me just get a few more boxes first. You know what I'm saying?
he got a ton of gear. And those really good times, man, just to look back and, you sit there and I'm in a meeting with George Ravlin. As a kid, I'm just, this is the guy that runs Nike. But, like, George Ravlin was the guy that Dr. Martin Luther King handed his I Have a Dream speech to when he was a kid. Like, George Ravlin has that speech.
Wow.
That's what everybody used to talk about. But as a kid, I was like, this is the guy who used to coach USC. That's how I see it. He used to coach Southern Cal. But, I mean, this is this is an icon.
Yeah.
Like, this, as a kid, he got the I Have a Dream speech from Martin Luther King. He handed it to him,
Is that situation you just described, is that one of the reasons why your dad thought you had a lot of pressure on you?
Yeah, it was a lot of things. It was happening
lot.
fast. It was getting crazy. It was happening fast. I remember, Nike sent the film crew down. It's just like, we just want to go with you everywhere you go for like 3 days. When you go work out, we're going. Just filming. I'm going, guys playing pickup. I'm like jumping in the pickup game. They looking at me like, why you got all these cameras? Following you. Like, what are you
You
doing?
making it hot, Will. Come
Like
on,
you the
man.
feds, from the hill, you don't come around with no cameras, no
Yeah,
bunch
for
of
real.
cameras, and so things were just going crazy, man. And so that's why he was like, man, you're all right with this? Like, no, this is what I want. This is it. And go to Oak Hill, it's different,
Yep, real quick. Your mom, she do you give me any like flack for like you not leaving? Cause you young at the time, like she okay with it?
She left it up to me. She said, it's your decision. I'm gonna support you either way. I remember the summer school thing. She said, you wanna go up and visit the school and then come back and decide? I said, Mom, this school's in Mount of Wilson, Virginia. There's nothing there. If you take me there and let me visit and come back home, there's no way I'm going.
Yeah.
I know that. I say, look, just take me there, first day of school, leave me. That's what she did. She said it was the hardest thing she ever had to do. Just leave my kid basically in the middle of nowhere with people I don't really know, he doesn't really know. But it was the best thing for me. That really prepared me to play at Duke as a freshman. Because now I'm getting coached by a coach that can say, you ain't the best player I coached. Think about that. Think about all the good players from around here. Most of the time, the really good players are the best player.
Yeah.
It's like he's had before me Ron Mercer, Stackhouse, Steven Jackson, Rod Strickland. The list goes on. Yeah. And so he can literally say that and be like, yeah, you're right. But he also knows what pros look like.
Mm-hmm.
So he can give me something I hadn't got. Other thing, he knows how to manage egos. He can coach 10 D1 guys and make them play together. He's done. He's won national championships. And so I learned so much from him, and just being able to go to practice and practice against a guy that's another high major guy every day.
Mm-hmm.
I had that for 2 years with Rick, but now I got it on the wings. I got it everywhere. And that really showed me what college practice was going to be like. Like, some days they're going to get the better of you. You got to come back and get them. Knowing that guy on the other side can get the best of you any day, that kept me focused, kept me working. It was nothing like that. And you get that for 6-7 months. Then we get to team up and go play against the best players in the world. We played Tracy McGrady's group twice that year. We beat Compton Dominguez in Cali, Kenny Bruner.
Yep.
we beat them. They also had Tayshaun Prince on that team. And, we beat them. We played against everybody. I remember playing against DeMar Johnson when he was young. But we were playing in back then it was called the Capitol Center, I think, and where the Bullets would play. We played them there. Like I said, McGrady twice. Lamar Odom twice. We play. We don't duck any smoke at Oak Hill. It is smoke. And when I go there, I'm like 84-8 in my 3 years at Westside, and then at Oak,
just flexing.
and then at Oak Hill, we go 30-5, which sounds good, and we still finished top 25 in the country. But I never lost 5 games in a season before. In high school.
You gotta relax, Will.
But you look at the 5 games, we lost to T-Max, Mount Zion group twice. Khalid El-Amin groups got us. That was probably the worst loss in school history. They got us, and Peoria Manual ended up winning the national championship that year. They got us. And this game is like the first real game of the season. They got Frank Williams, who played at Illinois, played for the Bulls. They got Marcus Griffin, who went to Illinois, and Sergio McClain all went to Illinois. They're the number 1 team in the country to start the year, and we're 2. So it's 1 versus 2. And so I'm coming from like everybody talking about the Westside Thompson game. It's, it's 6,000 people. It's crazy. We're playing in the Kiel Center in St. Louis, and it's 20,000. one versus 2. So, Coach, I'm like, Coach, I've been here before, West Side time before the game, we got 6,000. We go ahead. I'm like, man, this is crazy. This is crazy.
Coach, I've been here before. I got it, man.
Yeah, I went through, we warmed up. I'm like, man, this is nuts for high school basketball. Some other games on the card, earlier. But just the experience was crazy. We lose that game, but just to play against that kind of competition in those type of environments, nothing else could have prepared me better for Duke.
I don't think we mentioned it, but like I want to ask about how you got the Duke offer and how that came about. But up until you decide to go to Oak Hill, what schools were you looking at for yourself to go? Because at this time you were an Adidas guy, right?
Yeah, really, man, none. It was just talk. It was just talk. Like I'm saying, I got to figure it out, but I really didn't have any schools in mind. I'm really trying to push Norman to talk to Coach McCray and get Buck in there. That's
He's just trying to get Buck.
Yeah, that's what I need to happen.
You talk about like being ranked 14th, and then your coach saying, "Well, there's 13 other guys in front of you, right?" So even though you talk about like I made a decision to go to Oak Hill, all I keep thinking about was they get Buck. You don't even go to Oak Hill probably.
I don't go.
That's big for Buck. Right?
Yeah, there's no way I go. Because I've been working with Buck. Buck got me. Buck really introduced me to training. Like he really got me in there. When I first met him, he got me into my first camp. Gerald White camp. He was working. He saw me playing in the neighborhood, and back then he took out a piece of paper, wrote his number down. He's like, "Hey man, you ever want to work out? So give me a call." He's like, "By the way, let me know if you want to go to Gerald White camp." I was like, "I can't afford it." Yeah, he's like, "Nah." He's like, "We working there. We can bring somebody." And so Buck introduced me to Gerald White camp. And so I got in there, and that's when I got to compete against, other kids in the city that I'd never seen before. I'm like, man, I got to be here, every day, competing against these type of guys every day. And I was young. So like, but when Westside and Thompson was playing and Westside was in the state playoffs, like Buck was getting me out of school early, like taking me to these games. And as an 8th grade, like introduced, like, this is the stage you're going to be on. And then Buck got hired at Augusta, so he couldn't do as much, couldn't work with me and do all that stuff because it was against the rule because they used to be D1. Yeah. Augusta was D1 back in those days.
Wow.
And so that it kind of took him from me, but I had a chance to get him back, But
you mentioned that, and I guess I want to say that too. You mentioned your list, and this is nothing towards your list, but like what was your view on Vontigo? We interviewed him last year too. That was one of our biggest ones. He was a prominent player out here. Like they won a lot. I don't know if you played against him. Y'all beat him.
Yeah.
What was your view of him playing like when you saw him play?
He was big time. He was big time. Him and Rick were the guys that were my bar setters when I was younger. He was big time. He was Vontigo had positional size as a freshman. He was 6'4", playing the 1. Freak athlete, he was big time. And I love, those. It's funny because, like, those Thompson and Westside games, like, those were the feature guys, Rick and Vontigo. I'm the young one. I'm just back here, like, doing my thing. And it was a great stage for me, where kind of like, we want to say coming out party, but I was already, hooping during the year. But now you get to do it in games that really matter. And but no, Vontigo was great player.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about you. I don't know if you're making a decision. I don't know how this works, but you play because it seemed like you just was playing. Like a lot of the antics or the other things we talk about, as far as offers and stuff, don't seem like that was really on your mind. You just wanted to be the best and win.
That's it. Yeah.
How does Duke come about?
So, growing up, Georgetown was my favorite school.
Oh man,
I just love watching Georgetown, but I knew it wasn't a spot for guards. This is before AI. It just had bigs all the time. Never really had any guards. So just my favorite team to watch, and they were really good in the '80s. Yeah. So when I start thinking about what schools make the most sense for me, and where am I going to be a good fit and have a chance to win a national championship, came down to 2 schools in my recruitment, Duke and Kentucky.
Yo, hold up. That's a guy I was on the phone with before you started. He's a huge Kentucky fan. He was trying to be funny, like, "Oh, y'all let y'all Duke guys have it." Just wanted you to know. So it was down in Duke and Kentucky.
Duke and
you just
Kentucky.
chose the better school. Clap it up for you.
And so, and when you think about it, Duke and Kentucky in the 90s, it's Coach K and Rick Pitino. Like you don't get, think about it. I got Coach K and Rick Pitino coming to Skinner Mill Road in Augusta. Like, think about how crazy that sounds. They're coming to Skinner Mill Road in Augusta. And, my apartment.
And not for the Peach Jam, just for you.
Yeah. They coming to, our apartment's so small, we got to meet them at the lease office. We got to have all the meetings at the lease office in the apartment complex. Real talk.
It's not funny, but it's funny.
Yeah, like this is true stories, man. Like we're meeting in the lease office in the apartment complex. And when you think about that, man, how crazy is that? You think about it, you got 2 of the best coaches ever, coming to Skinner Mill Road in Augusta, Georgia. And that was the year Rick Pitino was rumored that he was going to take the Celtics job. And so that played a little part in it too. Like he may not even be there, but Kentucky was coming off a national championship. And then I started looking at the way Coach was with his guards. And then you go in Cameron, I'm like, man, they ain't had a guard like me. Yeah, I was like, this could be fun. And I got a great group with me.
Yeah.
Elton, Shane, and Chris got a great group with me. And I was like, this is it. And so, funny story, Elton Brand and I knew we wanted to play together. So we knew early on, like, man, let's go to Duke. Let's make it happen. So we would spend a lot of time taking visits together, like just to get to know each other.
Yeah.
The rest is history. But, Duke with Coach K and Quinn Snyder and Johnny Dawkins and Dave Henderson, like the staff was big time. Man, we had a big, you talking about Quinn Snyder, the head coach of the Hawks. Yeah. He was my assistant. He was the assistant at Duke. He's like a brother to me, man. We still talk to this day, but like the knowledge and the development he gave me was, unreal. Yeah.
Was there any like special or pitch that Coach K did that won you over as well, besides the Elton Brand, besides Pitino probably possibly leaving?
Here's the real deal. You're good, but realistically, I didn't know I would be an NBA guy. It's my dream. I hope that. So I'm like, okay, if I go to Duke and I don't make it, I'm gonna get a great education. I'm gonna have a chance to still be successful in life. So the plan B was better than any other plan B of any other school.
Got you. Yeah. That makes sense. Okay, make a lot of sense. What's the reactions to your family, people around here when you do choose?
Shock. Shock. I remember a lady told me, "I'm shocked that you're going to Duke. Why? You're just not a Duke kid."
Yo, it was in Augusta?
Yeah.
Augusta be so blunt, man.
Yeah. I don't mean that in a bad way. How do you mean it?
What's a Duke kid? Like, what's a Duke kid?
He just kids from the suburbs, rich kids. Yeah, I'm definitely not that. But it's funny because I committed early, but Coach K and I kept that between us because I wanted to have a signing day back at May Park where it all started. Where I came in with the jersey on the hanger. So I wanted to have, the signing there and for Bo to be president and everybody. And so I waited to sign in the spring. And so now it's the front page of the paper when I signed. So my friends calling like from West Side, like, man, all the teachers like hating Will.
That's why we can't get that gym now. Now it makes sense.
They hate, man. Like, oh man, how could he go to Duke and all that stuff? You know what I mean? And no, so it's funny that it shocked everybody, with my decision, but I knew I was going to be successful there.
This is from a fan talk. I didn't watch college in the 90s. I watched a lot of older things now, like ESPN documentaries. I'm a big Duke fan. Was unaware about how much people actually hated Duke in the 90s anyway. I wasn't aware until I watched like the Fab Five documentaries and you watch all them back and forth they had with certain people, UNC and stuff like that. Was that a thing too? Like for you, were you a Duke fan even when you played? Were you a Duke fan?
Yeah. When I figured out this would be a good place for me, I was a Duke fan.
Before then, no, you wasn't a Duke fan.
No, when I
Just
was
Georgetown.
young,
That's it.
Georgetown.
But did you
yeah.
like Duke at all, or did you like dislike them?
Just didn't really have anything against it, but I like Georgetown.
About
That's all
Kentucky?
I was watching. Not really. Yep, I watched a lot of Big East basketball. Big Monday was a big thing, and I would watch, Kentucky some because SEC, Georgia and stuff. But I love that. Like I love to be like they hate us at West Side too. They hate us at Oak Hill. Yeah, so I've been in that. Like I love being that guy. I love going into hostile environments. 3 minutes left in the game, everybody's walking out because the game is over. I love that.
That's funny.
It's no better feeling. Coach K used to call a timeout so we could watch him. It's no better feeling.
Oh, so describe like going to Duke. I guess that first year. How long you stayed there?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think you could win probably after your first year?
No, absolutely not. I hadn't even learned the position. Really had a great leader played ahead of me, and Steve Wojciechowski really taught me a lot about how to run a team and lead young men, because Duke had never had a guy leave school early. So we always had seniors. I was the first group of people to ever leave Duke early.
Yo, you flexing is crazy. First here, first there, first everywhere.
So Elton Brand,
Georgia
myself,
Stars.
and Corey McGetty, we were the first ones to ever leave early. And that year we got 4 players taken in the first 14 picks.
I was going to say, because you mentioned that, and that's one of the things I was going to ask you about, because it's been, like you said, on documentaries where, I don't know if Coach K wasn't the happiest that you guys did choose to leave.
Right.
How was that conversations with him, I guess, on exit interviews or whatnot, when you were choosing to go into the draft?
It's always tough when you're leaving somebody you love. Like the way I look at it, Coach K took a inner city kid from Augusta to Duke. That's gave me the stage. He took a chance on that guy. So it's real. I love that guy. Gave me the opportunity to be on the biggest stage, be a part of the biggest brands. So it hurts, that because you're leaving that, and and then what you're saying, like how did it make me feel that he wasn't happy with the decision. The 19-year-old me sees it through a different lens than the older, mature me. Coach had this thing set up. He wants the best for his players. So he knew, had I came back, even if Elton left, that was going to be the number 1 pick. It's hard to keep a guy who's going to be the number 1 pick, but he knew part of me that sophomore year had to defer. So he knew coming back that junior year I would really take off. And that's what he wanted for me. He wanted that. He wanted me to really show everything, I could really do. And but the 19-year-old me, didn't come from money. Got a great opportunity to take care of my family. Got a chance to achieve my dream, my childhood dream. And so instantly you're looking at those things. You can't, it's funny looking back, because obviously if I go back, I say, man, I stay man, I've been broke for 19 years. What's one more gonna hurt? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And, maybe things turn out different, but I get get to live my dream. I get to take care of my family. I had my grandmother who passed in '02, who was my best friend. She got to be at the draft with me. She got to see me play in the NBA. So those things was great. But yeah, so I could see him and his vision he had for that same kid from Augusta, Georgia. Like, watch this, watch what happens with this kid. I'm gonna show you how great he's gonna be. And then me, like, oh, I gotta go right now because I'm thinking, I need to go. But it's all good. Was able to go back, get my degree, be on the staff there and coach there. So got to live another dream.
Yeah.
So, man, Duke is, man, I bleed blue.
Yeah, me too.
I bleed blue, man. Duke is family for me, and it'll always be that way.
I wanted to ask, I know so you go to West Side High School out here, public school, then you go to Oak Hill, big name school and powerhouse at the time, and then you go to Duke. Even though you made some decent transitions before going to Duke, was there a huge difference that you saw in high school basketball and college basketball, whether it be West Side or Oak Hill, where there was a higher level of competition being played?
Yeah, no doubt. The level of competition and practice jumped levels immediately from West Side to Oak Hill. Just the fact that you have 10 college players in the gym every day. Well, most high schools, you have 1 or 2. And so the level of competitiveness, the play is faster, reaction time is faster. The athletes that you had at Oak Hill versus at West Side. And then to Duke, it jumped a few more levels.
Yeah.
And you got to keep growing as a basketball player. And that's one of the things are always understood at a young age. Like you got to keep growing because every level is going to be different. And I never looked at my success like, oh, I've done it. If I can chill now, oh, how can I get to be the best player in the state? How can I get to be the best player? How can I dominate games? How can I, win the state title? How can I be effective in the ACC? How can I be a pro guard? And looking at those things, and and on that note, here's a guy here that I don't think gets enough credit. And David, you're gonna like this because he's a fellow Spartan, But Mike Curry has been as influential as anybody in my life when it comes to basketball because he was there. And so he let me into his world to see what a pro looked like at a young age. When I was working, Gerald and Mike was having camps together. And so this is how the day would go. And if you did this to a kid, they would probably never come back. So this is how the day would go. Camp starts at 9. You're there at 7 working out. You work camp. At lunchtime, you work out again, work camp, and then you play after. Like, non-negotiable. That's what you did.
That's a lot.
So I remember being tired one morning, and I'm just like, man, I ain't going to that 7 o'clock. I'm in the bed, sleep. My mom comes in, and she puts the phone to my ear. It's Mike. Hey, man, get up. We got work to do. I'll go to the phone. So just the respect you had, I got up, went to the gym. And when I say work, I mean, we're running 17s on the football field. Like, it's crazy to think about that. Then we go run the bleachers. Then we come in and shoot. Then I got to be on my feet working camp. Then I got to work again at lunchtime. Then I got to play. But the way I saw it, if he's doing it, I got to do it.
Yeah.
He's already there. So this is how you got to work if you want to be a pro. And so he gave me that. He showed me, then he would bring pros in. I remember having to guard Lindsey Hunter. I'm like contesting every shot. He's still just knocking it down. And I'm like, man, I'm right there. He's like, well, I'm used to shooting over 6'5", 6'6" guys, all the time. I wouldn't even see you, you know what I mean? And Lindsey was a great player with the Pistons at the time. They were playing with the Pistons, and so he showed me that world. And the way my mind works is like I'm listening to the way they talk, watching how they stretch, how they work, how hard they playing.
Yeah.
So Mike really showed me like this is what you got to do to be a pro.
I think everything you said right there was just dope too, because I think about like Lindsey Hunter, and I'm aware of who he is, and I watched him play. Now, is this somebody like top pick for a guard? Probably not, right? But it's other guards. But when you think about NBA talent and how good they are,
stop you there. I think Lindsey was a lottery pick out of Jackson State.
Okay, yeah. I'm going off like other NBA guards. That people might pick,
Yeah.
I mean, even with you, like there's other NBA guards might say, "Well, I like Steph Curry better." Well, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But that don't mean that Will ain't no slouch. Like you hear your story.
Yeah.
And I think of like Derek Fisher, another one I like a lot. But I know that's not everybody's top person to pick. But he's
keep going. You're a New York guy. Hit on the guy
boy.
when what you talking about. Hit on that guy.
It's a certain person you want.
Just Jalen Brunson. Like,
oh boy, yeah.
I mean, like nobody's like
everybody said no.
Yeah.
Everybody said no.
Like all he do is win.
But he went everywhere. Yeah,
all he does is win. But like you said, nobody's like, oh man, I want to be like him or like this dude. But he kills everybody.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I can go for. I think it's my Eric Snow. He was no slouch. He was a big guard. He can defend. He wasn't selfish. He knowledgeable.
And AI needed E. Snow because AI couldn't guard the two. I mean, he could guard the twos, but you don't want him spending his time. Back then, twos were posting up. Mm-hmm. You don't want him, spending that much energy all the time. So AI can guard the one because E. Snow can go guard the twos. Yeah.
It just I think when you mention like how he helped you be around pros, and I think of that, like we think of these superstars, but pros are just pros.
No,
like,
pros are pros.
They work
man.
hard every day.
I mean, this guy played 12 years, man. You know how hard that is? Yeah, like he didn't come in there from Duke, Kentucky, and like he got to prove himself every year in training camp. That's hard. He's a 6'5", defender. Like he's got to find the right fit, and he's got to prove it to every team every year, and he did that. Like so, if I could work like that, I'd get there.
Nah, that's dope. That's just amazing to me to just hear that,
And just like he was always around. Like whenever I need him to talk on the phone, like he would come to a lot of my games. While I'm in college. I mean, we still spend time together now. He still was coming to my games, at Duke when I was coaching. We go to dinner. Like he's always been there, to guide me through whatever it was. And I think we need more of that.
Definitely
around here. And some people probably would be like, man, I ain't listening to him or talking to him. Like he all star. That's like through the pro,
That'd be crazy to say that though. He ain't no all-star.
But
that's a mindset. Yeah,
that's some of the young mindsets that we have. And I just literally, man, when I was like 16, 17, I was happy he was showing up to my games. I really just wanted to pick his brain. Like, what do you think? What I need to do different? What I need to add to my game? It's just like he's. I just think he needs more credit when we talk about guys' impact on this community. I mean, I don't know if I would be as successful without him, being there, because how would I know how to work? Like, how would I know how pros work?
Yeah.
How would I, be able to talk that language and understand just so many things you got to know to be a pro?
Yeah. What happened there?
No, I was gonna say when you say like impact on the community, like it's stuff that people wouldn't have saw. Like he would come down if he was free and Glen Hills was playing, he would come sit on the bench, like help out, point out different things.
Yeah.
I know one year he came and got all our shoes for the team, like stuff that you don't hear about it though, but yeah, he definitely had a big impact on the people, especially from the Glen Hill side, So just wanted to make sure to say that. I know citywide, but yeah, he definitely, I would see it firsthand, like when I was at Glen Hills.
Mm-hmm.
And shoot, I mean, he was a starter on the Pistons. So I mean, all-star
Come
night.
on, man.
You playing out there with Ben Wallace, Rip Hamilton,
Come
and
on,
all
man.
that. He was on those teams. So
Yeah.
I mean, this is the stuff he's done. I mean, being president of the Players Association, being the head coach of the Detroit Pistons. I mean, like that's big time stuff.
That's big time stuff. Yeah. Ain't no slouch.
That's like why wouldn't you want to talk to that guy? Why wouldn't you take his advice? Why wouldn't you let him guide you?
Nah, that's dope, man. That's dope. Yeah, I think a good guy too. I see him and Eric Snow together. Matter of fact, they both was funny together. So that's just funny times, man. Eric Snow's a funny guy, by the way. He's probably one of the funniest NBA players I ever met in my life. But so all right, so we at Duke. I do want to ask about some of Duke. I know we kind of talk around some stuff, but you meet your neighbor, your teammate, your brother. Your checklist. You meet him at Duke. What's that like?
At this point, and it really didn't even hit me until like it happened. Like not even in the Final Four. I'm like, but the only reason I really knew because PR guy would come to me like, Will, you're gonna get a lot of questions about potential matchup with you and your former teammate, just to prep me, for it. I'm like, really? But for me, it was, my first thought was like, when it happens, like, Augustus won.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, two of the city's very on the biggest stage in college basketball. Same neighborhood, same street, same high school. Once again, we've won a lot of games together. And it was different because our careers were in different places at the time. Like, I knew it was a chance I was gonna go pro. I didn't know if I would, but I knew that was there for me. Rick's career was different, 4-year guy. And I know, it's like it was just different.
His role was different for that team as well.
Yeah, it was just different. But I thought it was great, for us to match up. A funny story, like we didn't talk, none of that. Like
I was gonna ask that. Did y'all talk?
Nah, we'll be friends later. Like this is the biggest stage.
Yeah, I ain't talk at all. Like during the season.
We've talked like during some seasons, but maybe a call here and there, but like not during the tournament. Not during the tournament. We're locked in, both trying to win that championship.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes, and I'm like, we've won 32 games in a row at this point. I'm thinking there's no way we can lose. And I think they're a good team, no disrespect to them, but I was like, I'm still in disbelief that we lost that game. I can't believe we lost that game.
Even right now.
Right now. I can't believe we lost that game.
And it was 99?
99, yeah.
Who won the year after that,
Michigan State.
Okay.
Yeah. No, Team Cleves, Mo Pete.
Yeah.
Yeah. They beat Florida, Mike Miller, Udonis Haslam, that group.
But the funny story, this ain't got nothing to do with nothing really, but it does. So 99, this is funny. This is it. I went to my cousin took me to his college. Spring break. That's when we have the tournament, the championship. And I'm young, like third grade at the time. So came to his college, and everybody in that dorm, he went to Shaney. This is HBCU in Pennsylvania, and everybody in the dorm watching the game. And it was y'all game, and a lot of people was betting on y'all.
Yeah.
And so like it was tussling in there. It's a dorm room, it's small. They just mad, everybody arguing. I was a little happy, I'm not gonna lie. Not that y'all lost, but I had just played live 98 with them or whatever, and I got torched. Cause I would cheat when I played video games. I play on both teams. I play on the other team, don't let them buy the ball, and then I play on the other team.
Dude.
My cousin saw that, was like, yo, y'all can't be my cousin, so they playing me, and he washed me. And I was so happy everybody was mad because it took the attention off me, because these all 20-year-olds, they just joke me the whole time. I'm like, I'm 9, I can't take it no more, right? And I didn't realize even until I got older, like, I didn't know I'd be ever talking to you. I watched the game. I heard him calling your name, saying, it it's funny talking to you now because that's a part of my life I just remembered, and I never thought I would be sitting here talking to the guy that was on the team. I wasn't even a Duke fan at the time. Yeah, I watched basketball, wasn't really crazy about it at the time until Jay Williams. But yeah, it just was funny. It was a lot of people lost money that night, man.
And, you know, when I got drafted, like some of my teammates, KG was the first one. Man, y'all lost my money, man. I can't believe y'all lost that game. Man, I lost my money. He say, you know, y'all was rolling. He say, when y'all beat Maryland, it was like, man, these dudes for real. He said, I've been rocking with y'all ever since.
Yeah, man.
He said, y'all played Maryland, and Maryland was tied at half. Y'all came out and mopped them by 20. He said, I was with y'all from then on, you know, but great year. Great year, man. One of probably the best team I've ever played on. Just good guys, good players, you know, being in tough situations, other guys stepping up. It was, man, it was an unreal year. And I just wish we could have finished it off, you know, right. And,
Did that play a role too, like in your decision to stay lead? Do you think Coach Seffi was upset with that too? Like,
you know, I'm gonna tell you, you know, what really did it, the feedback that I was getting, they said I wouldn't go lower than 8 because I was coming back to school. Like if you tell me I'm going to be the 14th pick in the draft, I'm going back to school. I wouldn't come out of, I'm at Duke.
yeah,
I wouldn't, and we're going to be good again. You know, we're going to be good
It's
again.
Duke, yeah.
You know, the next class is, you know, Boozer, Jay Will, and Dunleavy. That's the next group coming in. We still got, you know, Shane, Chris Carrawell, so we're going to be good again. So if you tell me I'm going to be the 14th pick, I'm staying in school because I know next year now I got a chance to probably be top 5. You know, but when you hear 8, and it kind of 8 kind of pushed me, you know, pushed me out the door like top 8, and I remember my high school coach saying the same thing that I had heard. Like, all right, you know, maybe. And I knew I needed to get better, but you can also get better there in the league. But, you know, funny thing about the league, like everybody can play, man. It's where you go, where you get drafted. Like I get drafted to Minnesota 14th. They got Terrell Brandon and Bobby Jackson in front of me. Now Bobby Jackson at this time is fighting for his NBA life. You know, he's backing up. You know Bobby Jackson can go. You know,
I like
6th
Bobby
man
Jackson.
of the year.
I love Bobby Jackson. Yeah.
So Bobby goes to SAC at the end of the season. Signed to deal with SAC. We bring in Chauncey Billups. You know, so tell me well, you know, Chauncey gonna play, you know, some of the 2, which he did. You know, but still, he's gonna slide over to the 1. So now, and all this time, I'm 19, 20, 21. I'm young. So they're telling me, look, Will, just wait. Like, you don't need to be good at 21. We want you good at 25. But you seeing everybody else that was picked lower than you, they're playing. You're like, man, I want to play. So you get frustrated. You're like, man, they lied to me, you know, and all this kind of stuff. And I probably didn't handle that well. You know, I probably wasn't a pro about that, you know, the way that went on. And it probably hurt me a little bit, you know, just the way I handled, you know, playing behind those guys. And it's funny now, because you look at, you know, Chauncey Billups in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You know, he was a backup.
Not a bad guy to play behind.
Yeah, like I had to play him out of Hall of Famer. You know, at a 6th man of the year.
Yeah.
You know, those 2 guys. It was a tough situation to crack at 19, 20 years old on a playoff team. You know, it's different if you go to a non-playoff team, you're not winning. So now they're developing.
Yeah.
You know, Minnesota's in win now mode, playoff team.
I like to add too that once again you had lost like what 13 games in high school. You playing top of the top everywhere you go. This is different. It's like you finally made it to your dream. It's like I ain't even playing.
Want me to flex again?
Yeah, please.
I only lost 19 games total between high school and college. No, but
He ain't break the 20 loss club, man.
No, but yeah, that's just a testament to playing with good guys, being in the right cultures, you know, being in winning cultures. And I think that's a blessing too to a lot of players. Like, there's a lot of really good players, but they're in bad cultures. and they don't learn. Like I was in a good coach and learned how to win early, and I owe a lot of that to Rick. One thing like Rick was just a flat out winner. He worked his butt off. Like if you ask me, like what's the best thing he does in high school, I'm gonna tell you, lead and win. That's what he does. He just, if we need a block, he was gonna get a block. We need to take a charge, he was gonna do that. We need to score, he was gonna do that. He just led and win. That's what he does. You'd be like, oh man, he can really shoot, really score. Like, he just did whatever you needed. Go guard the best player on the other team. You do it. He just, when he just made plays, man. Sometimes like a guy be on a break, you just know like Rick's getting ready to foul it, man. Rick going to get that shit above the block. And you just sit there like, damn, he just went and got that. And I'm talking about like I remember seeing this in the Final Four my freshman year. There's a guy named Anton Reese. He's going to Alabama. He's like top 50 player in the country playing for Lithonia. He's on the break. I'm thinking he's going to dunk on Rick. Rick went and got it. But he would do that all the time. Big, post player drop step, going to lay it up. Rick come from the top of the key and pin it against the glass. I never saw like guys make those kind of plays, guards, like defensively. Like it's a 2-on-1, you think he's gonna do on him, he may take a charge. Just heady, smart, just made plays, man. Like the game against Thompson, our sophomore year, he almost has a triple-double. He had like 37, 10, and 9.
Damn.
They were like, oh, he can't shoot. Well, he probably made 7, 8 threes that night. He just did it, man.
Speaking of threes, and this is on a tangent, but like, what was your favorite game in high school? I mean, in college at Duke. What was your favorite game you played?
Thinking of the Florida game?
I watched it today. 6 threes in the first half is kind of crazy.
Nah, it was cool, but
Oh, nah, come on, man. Man. You ain't getting that off today, man. It was cool.
I'm gonna tell you my best. Anytime I'm beating that school down the road, that's my best game. Anytime I'm beating that school down the road.
I watched a podcast a while back, and I think Vince Carter was talking about how he almost dunked on you. I thought you was in the way or something like that.
Yeah, I ran out the
missed
way.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Business move, smart. Yo, man, I can still hear how hard that ball hit off the glass. When Ed threw it against the glass, I'm like, who is he throwing it to? By the time I turned, Vince was in the air, like exit stage left.
You're not flexing, but even he played with Vince Carter. Like that's
no, that was big time
Vince
team,
Carter,
and
man.
that dude is the most athletic dude I've ever
Vince
seen
Carter?
in my life. Yeah,
he's an alien.
yeah.
Aliens
Literally.
are real. He's Vince Carter. Yeah,
But no, man, just a rival. Anytime I could play well and we could beat Carolina, that was the best.
Nah, that's dope.
Florida was great. I didn't even realize I set the record. Yeah, like really.
Oh my God.
Nah, I'm serious, man. Real talk. Like, Coach had me programmed just being a really good point guard. Just get it was funny because I was 8 for 10 from 3, and so the next day in practice, Coach is like, Will was 8 for 10 for 3, but he also had 9 assists. But the biggest thing, the guy who was guarding couldn't play, because he was shutting him down. But he was like, if I was Will, I would have shot more. But that's what most people do. If you 8 for 10, you keep shooting. But I'm still trying to facilitate and be a point guard. It was just about getting better. And I know when you focus on just getting better, those things happen.
Yeah.
If I went in there like, oh, I got 5, the record is 7, let me keep, it probably don't happen.
True.
But I'm just focused, taking the right shots, in the flow of what we're doing, and it just happened that way. Yeah.
I want to talk about, because I know I want to talk about this draft night. Now you mentioned it, you talked around it a little bit, but talk about the leading up to the draft. Were you nervous? Did you know where you was gonna go? How was it back then? Like pre-draft workouts. You hear all these talks now about.
I'm gonna tell you, I was good right into the night before. So going in at my agent's house, and one of the agents I didn't go with gave me a call, Bill Duffy. He gave me a call. He was living in Cali. He was like, Will, I just want to say congratulations. Looks like you're going to be in my backyard. Looks like Golden State is going to take you at 10. And so I'm like, all right, going to Golden State at 10. I'm, excited about that. Top 10 pick. Sitting at my agent house. I get a call from like my barber or somebody in Durham. No, my one of my best friends went to Oak Hill with me, calls me. I was like, you see the trade? Like, no. He was like, man, Atlanta just traded Mookie Blaylock to Golden State. They got the 10th pick.
Oh.
And so here's the thing. Atlanta had picks 17, 20, and 27. And so I had worked out for all the teams in the lottery, and my agent called me. He's like, Atlanta wants you to come in. He was like, but, Will, you're not going to be there at 17. Like, if you want to go, it's just because it's your home state. And, like, I'm grinding. I'm tired. My body's tired. I was like, you don't want to go there and have a bad one.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, nah, I'm not going to go.
Oh, man.
And they get the 10th pick. So now I'm like, dang. I ain't even gonna work out. They got the 10th pick. This could be a dream situation. So my agent called around to see if, because these were the 5. You knew Steve Francis and Baron Davis was going top 3. They was gonna go 2-3, however it went.
You was in the same draft class.
So
as
these
Steve
are the
Francis?
5. These are the 5 guards in this draft class: Steve, Baron, Andre Miller, Jason Terry, myself, and then Vontigo was the 6th. So we had 6 point guards taken in that draft. And so I knew it was going to be either Andre Miller, Jason Terry, or myself. So Andre Miller goes 8. So now it's just, me and JT and the 10th pick coming in. Guys are like, Will, you about to go home, to Atlanta? I was like, nah, because I'm in the green room and I see the hats already going over to his table. And so then I was like, I don't know what's about to happen now. Cleveland had 11, but that just took Andre Miller with the 8th pick. They had 8 and 11. So I knew they wasn't going point guard. They go Trajan Langdon, my teammate. The Toronto has 12, and I don't think I'm going to end up there. I don't even know, but the Knicks was telling me like the whole time, like, Will, we're going to trade up to 12, and if you're there, we're going to take you. But a lot of people say that. They didn't trade up to 12. So really, I don't know what's about to happen. But I do know Minnesota was my best workout. And they're at 14. But even Minnesota said they didn't think I would be there at 14. And so when they came across, like, if I don't go here, I don't know what's about to happen. Only other thing I can think about, the Knicks at 16. But what you don't want to do is slide. You're looking in that green room, you don't want to be the last person. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Start getting nervous.
yeah, like, man.
Should I have stayed at school?
Yeah. And the lady, she kind of sensed it. That was controlling the hats. So when Minnesota was on the clock, about 30 seconds in, she like looked at the table and smiled and started grabbing them hats and bringing them over. I was like,
That's dope, man.
And so that was really good. And I got to Minnesota, and the next day, and do the press conference, all that, and the PR guy comes. He's like, Will, KG just called. He wants you to come by. I'm like, all right, go by. This dude, like he's a guy. I knew him like in high school, not knowing, but I knew of him like in high school and stuff. But he's a star. I'm like, this dude just told me to, come by his house. Like we gonna play together, and just a cool dude, man. And it was funny because he was, he had a big house, and then his architect had the blueprints of the next house he was getting ready to build.
Wow.
So just to meet him, and you're like, all right, it's really happening. You're here. Like we're talking about basketball, what they do in the summer when the guys get there and all that stuff. Like it just got really real. Like you're gonna be playing with this guy, and this guy wants to win a championship. And,
you mentioned something, so I just gotta ask: when y'all beat Maryland, where was Steve Francis at on your ranking of
he was good. It's the first time when we played him at their place. First time seeing him up close, because he was junior college. You see the highlights and all that stuff, but real explosive, just big time. You knew, he was a pro.
Yeah.
Just had it off the bounds, finish above the rim. And I remember Chris Carwell had the assignment to guard him. Chris, great defender, did a great job. Slowed him down. It's tied at the half. We're 1-2 in the country. It's tied at the half. Second half, we beat them by 20. And they're loaded. I mean, they got Steve, but they got Terrence Morris ended up being a first-round pick, LaRon Prophet, Obina Akizi. I mean, they got some guys. Terrell Stokes was a steady point guard. I mean, they're really good.
Yeah.
And we beat them. And back then, the Duke and Maryland rivalry was big.
Mm-hmm.
And it was tough to go there and win. They hated us. We hated them. But now Steve was, Steve was big time.
Yeah. It was my favorite player for a little while. I like watching him play in the NBA, of course, but I like watching him play. All right, so you in the NBA, I know you said some things didn't go like your way. Maybe you didn't handle some things as a pro. How much did business affect like your love for the game, like the business and the politics of the NBA?
A lot. It was always a game to me. And for the first time, you hear that, it's a business, but when you're literally like, you're not going to play in front of this guy because he makes X amount of dollars and we got to give him the opportunity first. That's tough when you're 19, 20. So it was hard for me. And first time in my life, I was on a team I did not get to play in the game like that. I've sat out of the game, but I knew I was sitting out of the game. It was the first time where you don't know if you're going in the game. And that was hard for me. And you're working, you have great practices, none of that matters. It's already set.
No matter what you do in practice.
Yeah, rotation is set unless somebody gets hurt. Yeah.
Okay. I knew I asked that too because, like I said, I know you was in Minnesota. But your rookie year, like, did you play at all? Did you get the chance to play at all?
I played some. Yeah, I played some, but I never like stuck in the rotation unless somebody was injured. I never knew like driving to the game. I got 25 minutes. Yeah.
I get you some water, man. We can't have a goat on here coughing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That ain't the flex we looking for right there. You know what I'm saying? But okay. And so you play some here, you play some there. What's that doing to you mentally? Like mentally, how you can prepare for games? How are you as a teammate? Are you a good teammate now?
A good teammate. It was tough, man. You only can do so much retail therapy. Yeah.
Just buying stuff.
That's gonna get old. You know what I mean? And it was hard, man. I would go there. It was to the point where I was like frustrated even to work with the coaches. Like after practice, I would just come back later on my own and just work like, man, y'all ain't telling me the truth, And it was really tough, but here's the hard part about it. Sometimes veterans take you under their wing, teach you how to be a pro. Sometimes they don't, because they look at it, hey, the sooner you get better, I'm out of a job.
Yeah.
And so you got to understand that part. This is the best job in the world, being an NBA player. And it was hard for me to, at 19, 20, to figure out this is the business. This is the way you handle this situation. Because all you thinking it's a game, and I just got the best of him in practice yesterday. I should play.
Yeah, you on the phone, I be busting his in practice. I don't know why I ain't playing, man.
But in the day, like, he's coasting, he's chilling, he's trying to save his body for the game. You know what I mean? You're not his competition.
That's your game right there in practice.
Yeah, but that's my game, and it was hard, man. And you watching other guys like, man, this guy playing over here, but they're winning 26 games.
Yeah.
We're winning 50. You know,
Playoff team is
yeah.
different, yeah. And the West Coast.
Yeah, tough.
Hard. West Coast is
You know,
hard, yeah.
We're in the playoffs. Each year we got eliminated. It was Spurs, Dallas, and Portland. Like all teams that had a chance to win it all, in those years.
Yeah.
And it's just tough for young guys to go to playoff teams and not really understand what a pro is, and how you handle, the work ethic and doing that thing. But how do you handle not playing? Because you look at it like, man, if I don't play, I'm not gonna get the second deal. Mm-hmm. But what really, if you're doing what you're supposed to do, working and developing, they're gonna still make that investment. I remember later on seeing Jermaine O'Neal. He was stuck in Portland.
I remember that, yeah.
Had all those bigs, but they still paid him.
Mm-hmm.
Gave him 5 years, $40 million when he wasn't even playing, because he was a pro. He was doing everything he's supposed to do. I was like, man, I should have knew that. I started getting frustrated. Like, man, y'all, you just, not that I'm being disrespectful or anything, but that's how I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Y'all just telling me what y'all want me to hear.
You're just blowing them off. Mentally, you're blowing them off.
Yeah, mentally.
But your body language is a thing. Like, your language might have told it as well.
Yeah, and then I had a journalist asked me similar questions like you just did, and I handled it all wrong. Just, just handled the interview emotionally. And then, I knew I had messed up because I'm sitting in practice, and my head coach come in with the newspaper in his hand. he come in with the newspaper in his hand, like, and then he sits down with like the GM and like holds it out. They're talking about. I was like, yeah, I probably messed that one up.
You had to apologize about that, or
I didn't, but you knew it was like in his mind, like, yeah, he's young,
During your rookie year, your NBA, how many, if at all, how many times did you think I should have just stayed at school?
Quickly. Quickly. The game you love, and I'm not out there hooping. Like I'm still like, this is so crazy. Like, you don't even realize like the rotation has been set like early in training camp. You know what I mean? So like the first game, I'm like, man, I had a good practice 2 days ago. He probably put me in. I'm sitting there. So I'm sitting there like, man, shit, maybe I should have stayed at school. It was tough, man. And you don't want to talk to nobody because they used to you hooping. Like, I don't want to talk about basketball right now.
Ain't nothing to talk about.
Yeah, I want to talk about it right now. It was really tough, man. And when I left the league and went overseas, I was like, man, I just want to hoop.
Yeah.
I just want to get out here and play. And then Philly called me, invited me to training camp. Like, yeah, we need some shooting around AI. It's like, all right, great opportunity. I go there about a month, then they release me. I got to go back overseas.
Do you think you did anything wrong, or just was the business?
What happened is we talked about East Snow earlier, me being able to guard the twos. Back then, twos was posting.
Mm.
I couldn't do that at the time.
Got you.
Yeah. And so, like, literally told me, like, well, you're going to be out there with AI. He's going to guard the ones. You got to be able to guard the twos.
And maybe you give me a better, like, a basketball answer, but it's so the ironic part of all this is, like, you can watch Eric Snow high school highlights and maybe some college or whatever, watch yours, hear about you and stuff, and it's like most people offensively, of course, can be like, oh, this is the better guy right here, of course, just look at their career, look at all this stuff, but it's like when you get to that level, it's the small details matter so much.
That's it. It's about fit.
That's it.
It's about fit.
We already got AI. We don't need Will to score.
That's right.
We got the best scorer in the league right now.
We need guys that can go guard twos.
Yeah.
And they like, he can guard twos and make shots. Okay, yeah, but you can't guard twos.
Decision to leave. Was that yours, your agent? Like you just said, I don't want to be in the NBA. I want to go play somewhere. Was it more of a monetary thing? Like, what was the decision to leave?
I had got some offers of training camps initially. I didn't have anything guaranteed after my 3 years. And I got Wally Zerbiak, who was my teammate in Minnesota, his dad was a great player, a great EuroLeague player for Real Madrid. And so he was a highly credible scout for the ACB, which is the Spanish league.
Yeah.
And so he came to me after the summer league game. I was playing with Utah, and he was like, "Will, I got a great, situation for you in Spain. I'm gonna call your agent." At the time, I'm like, "Spain, really?" And it was a great deal. Actually, the net money was more than I had made the last year in Minnesota. The deal in Spain. I'm 22 years old, and so I go, take the deal, but I get lured back because Philly calls. Even though I have this great deal, and I was on a great team. Like I was, Roger Bell was on my team. Hanno Matola played for the Hawks, was on my team. Nocioni was on my team. Louis Scola was on my. We were loaded.
Did Roger Bell get that call too? Because he played for Philly.
He had just left Philly. He was on my team in Spain.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he had just left, and I got the call, and I was like, I'm 22. Like I want to be in the league. I'm over here in Spain. I can't coach and speaking no English. I'm like, man, we just spent 7 hours at the gym. We came, we had practice in the morning. We're running outside, and we come in, do core work, then shoot. Like literally, we there 3 hours. Go home, rest. We come back for another 3-hour practice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but that's what Eastern European coaches do. They work you. And so I got the call for Philly to come to camp. I was like, man, I'm out. I'm going to Philly. And so I was home, and I was playing really well in Spain. Like they called back, it was like, man, you sure you don't want to come back? And I'm gonna say this, man. Career-wise, that probably was the worst decision I ever made. Because in Europe, I would have set myself up to have a great career. Because at 22, I was on a EuroLeague team in Spain, which at the time was the best league.
Mm-hmm.
And I was making, really good money. I would just kept, just going up. And so not knowing the market, I go to Philly and they release me. Now I got to go back. All the EuroLeague teams filled. So now, I got to find a good situation. I end up going to France, which was a really good league. You had Michael Pietrus and Boris Diaw, Tony Parker. You had a lot of really good players in the league, but it wasn't like Spain. And I had to work and work and work to get my way back to that level. But by the time you do that, you only got a few years left.
Yeah.
I could have spent 10 years at that level and probably would have got back to the league from playing at that level, And so I always look at that, man, as probably the worst career decision, like leaving Tau Victoria in Spain.
I got a few questions. I don't know. I just got a few more. I know we're wrapping up, but what about did Mike call you? Like Krzyzewski, did he call you?
When?
Like your rookie year, like just to give you work. Like you lost at this point. You don't know what to do. You're not trying to talk.
We talk, and actually, I came back and worked with Johnny Dawkins. Came back and worked one summer. I reached I'm trying to get back in the league. Work with them, and so we talk, and he helped as much as he could. Yeah.
Okay, now like I said, I know with the level you played at, you had some prominent coaches and people you could have talked to, and
I had a lot of opportunities, like to join NBA training camp teams, but I knew that window was closing. Mm-hmm. As a basketball player, you got about 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
So I was not going to ever leave guaranteed money again once I did in Spain. So I was like, unless you can guarantee me some money, I'm not going to training camp.
Yeah. And you mentioned this earlier, but part of you when you did leave to go to Duke, did Jay Williams coming in having any impact on that?
No, not at all.
I'm just asking. I'm just asking.
I know he had a great career.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, he's probably the best college guard, career-wise.
I used to love Jay
probably
Williams.
Probably had the best college, but no chance I'm running.
Okay.
No
Yeah.
chance.
I'm going with you. I'm going with you. You home team now, so I'm going with you. But at the time,
chance.
I was amazed by him. When that was the first person I ever watched play college basketball. I was like, oh yeah, this is it. This is it. Okay. And so, like, when I guess, professionally wise, when did you stop? Like, when did you say, okay, I'm done. I ain't gonna play no more.
I played. I remember I was getting ready to go to China. I'd never been to China. I heard it was a great market. You know, they paid well, high level coaching, and but it was weird because you only can have one American, I think, on the floor at a time. You only have two on the team and only one on the floor at a time.
That's wild.
Yeah,
I didn't know
so
that.
I was like,
It's illegal to substitute two Americans then?
I guess they want to make it where you don't take away from the locals.
Got you.
Like Russia has a where it's got to be a certain amount of Russians on the court at all time in that league. They don't want you to take away from them. And I'm like, man, this is gonna be great because I'm a rest a lot. I'm only playing 2 quarters. You know what I mean? But I'm working out, and by this time I'm at year 10, 11. I'm working out, and my body's just not recovering as fast as it need to play at this level. I never forget I'm working out at Patriots Park. And I'm like, man, I just signed a deal. They sent the visa. I got the visa in my passport, the working visa. I'm ready to go. Team excited. So I'm going to do this again. Go. Had to call my agent. I said, look, man, I ain't going to be able to make it. He's like, what? Well, I was like, my body's not recovering as fast as it needs. I'm going to go over there. They're going to send me back home because I'm going to practice one day and I ain't going to be able to go tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And so didn't do that. And I was like, I don't want it to end like that. I wanted to end on my own terms on the court. So I said, look, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to work. And I want to join a team in January. And I want a top 4 team in their league. And I want to be a backup point guard, play like half the game. If you can find me that situation, I'll go. I just want to finish it healthy. So he finds the situation in Poland. So I go to Poland, top 4 team, and we end up getting the bronze medal, finishing 3rd. And by then, this when I knew I wanted to be a coach because I started like mentoring the young kids. Like, there's no college basketball in Europe, so the really good young players, they're pro. And so we had a young guy on the team. I was like, look, this is how we're going to do this. I'm going to go up one time. You're going to sub me. You're going to go up twice. Because I knew I was at the stage where I couldn't give you everything in practice and the game. My body just wouldn't let me. Now I'm 32, having to guard like 20-year-old guards. That ain't a good feeling, when your mind like, man, I'm better than this dude, but your body like, I don't know. You know what I mean? And so I'm out there. So I get through it and did a good job with the young guys. Coach comes in like, Will, I want to sign you back, man, and do exactly what you just did. Be a good guy in the locker room, mentor these young guys, give us 20 minutes, whatnot. I said, Coach, man, I was in my apartment doing the playoffs in May, and it was snowing. I said, there's no way I'm doing this again.
Snow in May,
it was snowing in May, man. It's no way I'm doing this. And I was like, nah, I said, Coach, I said, man, a man told me a long time ago, because I would ask like these vets, like, when do you guys know it's over? He said, when they call the starting lineup and you don't get butterflies anymore. Nerves are good, Every game I've played, sitting there, nerves are going. The last game, I didn't feel anything. I said, yeah, it's time.
It's time.
It's time. And I shut it down, man. Then I was trying to, figure out the next chapter. I knew, I wanted to get home and be a dad. Like, I wanted to, take my kids to school, pick them up. You know what I mean? I really wanted to be a dad, and I was going to, enjoy that until I, figured out the next thing. And I was already, involved with the Will Avery Stars. Don was playing, and I was doing that. But in my vision, for that, I was like, man, I want to get some young kids that I could see all the way through and kind of guide them. But then the poaching started happening, you know what I mean? They start pulling your kids, and now, you know, what it looked like then, it don't look like, 3-4 years from now. But man, that was a really good thing. I got to see a lot of those guys grow, and one thing I remember about Don, I remember I came from overseas, and I would join them on tournaments, and Don was playing, and I remember Pete Dunn was the coach. He was like, man, Don always texts me and asks me how he played. And I remember telling Pete, I was like, he's going to be pretty good. He's like, why? I said, because he care. They're like 10 years old.
Yeah,
nobody's doing that at 10. And he would always text him after the tournament, how did I play? What did you think about me? I knew he was going to be good, because if you care that much, you're going to put in the work too. You care of his opinion of you at 10.
Yeah.
And I knew it. Yeah.
Man, that's dope. I knew he would text because he would call me and stuff and like that, but I wasn't in the know of y'all, what y'all was doing.
Yeah.
It was new to me. I didn't play like ball like that. You don't do that a lot.
Yeah.
And so he was like, he going here. I'm like, oh, y'all won nationals? Oh, whatever that means, I don't know. Well, we played for Avery. I'm like, okay, cool.
And they were really good, man. And it was funny because like the Georgia Stars and Atlanta Celtics used to be like Westside Thompson, like back then. Like the directors would give us the last game of the night and it would be packed in Atlanta. We'd play like 8 or 9 o'clock on Friday night somewhere and it's packed. And so the Will Avery Stars and this Atlanta Knicks group like had this same thing. It was crazy because they were so young. Like the parents hate each other. Like it was crazy, man. And it was really crazy. And they were really battle it out, man. It was just fun to watch these young kids, go at it. So I was like, I gotta get involved some way, with the youth. Like we got a lot of, because I didn't know because I'd been gone. So I was like, man, we got a lot of talent here, and it needs nourishing and guided, so they can make the right decision, put themselves in position to be successful. And so right then I knew, like, I didn't know how or what, but I knew I was going to be involved, with the youth.
We always talk about the small details and stuff, and I remember Dawn like calling me and he was like, "Oh yeah, we're every house, man. I love it." Like, well, come home. It's all right. We got a nice little apartment over here. It's decent, But just as a kid, seeing that, seeing like what hard work can get you, like, and things like that. So I always thought that was cool for them at that age. And I think at that time he had just stopped playing basketball. We never didn't play.
Yeah,
that just came out of nowhere.
He was behind the Aubreys.
Yeah. Yep.
Actually, Dez was really good.
Dez
for
was
him
the
at that
guy.
time. Yeah,
Dez was the guy.
Dez was the guy. But
he was the truth.
and it's funny because, like, when I'm somewhere, like I got Augusta on my back. Like they don't understand how many times I'm in a room and it's, man, y'all ain't got no hoopers from Augusta. How many pros y'all got? How many this like I'm always, so all the kids from there in college, like I'm in front of the TV, like I'm keeping up with every last one of them because now I get to brag a little bit.
Yeah.
We got some kids that can go. You know what I mean? And so I don't think they understand that, like, that's what I go through, a lot. The same thing, man, like when I'm in high school and Rick's at UConn and Vontego's at Pitt, like they from the crib, and like you carry that with you, man, at every time. And so like you ain't out there by yourself, man. You doing it for everybody. You're inspiring the next generation, and people are really proud, when you're out there doing it.
Definitely. Yeah. Look, this was dope. Me, it's funny that we talk a lot about a lot of things, and I always be transparent. I wasn't sure. I was like, because I don't know how it was gonna go. To me, like. You might think I'm just Will Avery. I don't know how you feel about yourself. To me, you a star. Like, so I'm like, this is probably my biggest guest. I don't know if you want to come here and like, look, I got 45 minutes, which I want to do. I don't know. I never. This is my first time meeting you. I heard about you.
I was gonna walk through the door.
No, man. One thing I would appreciate, when I watch you on here, man, is that the platform you give to anybody. It doesn't matter. Politician, athlete, local business owner, you always provide that platform for them to use their voice. And I think that's dope.
I appreciate that.
Because a lot of times a lot of people got a lot of things to say, but they have nowhere to say it. And I think you really help them with that. And I had to come on here.
I appreciate
you know what I mean?
it, man.
I appreciate what you do for the community. And one of the things I like, though, I like you don't duck any smoke, though.
I don't.
I like you put anybody on here and ask any questions. I love that. Yeah.
I think that's probably just more for where I'm from, but I think that's important, you know. And
It's super important. Man.
how you answer is how you answer, you know. It's never a disrespect thing. It's just like the people want to know.
People want to know, man.
I do it. I don't smile. Actually, one question. This for
Go ahead.
I ain't never been to a Duke game. I need your help.
We can make that happen, man. It's too easy.
Look, clap it up for him, man. Clap it up for him, man. Clap it up for him, man. I'm trying to flex. I need 2 tickets. That's it. Last question. That's last. That's it. I'm trying to flex. I need 2.
Say less.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know what Don gonna do, but I know I'm. You know.
Say less. I got you.
I ain't never been to one.
We can go together.
Oh, I said that. Didn't I say that?
Yeah, we can go together, man.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Yeah, I ain't never been to one. That would be my dream to go to a Duke game.
I'm telling you, man, it's you've never seen nothing like this. Like Cameron gets like when Zion was there, I've never seen the building like that ever. You know, I've seen, but when Zion was there, he changed the whole building.
Give me if you got top. I don't know. You got top 5 Duke moments.
Top 5 Duke moments. Obviously, breaking the record against Florida. You know, you go in the record books. ACC tournament my sophomore year, having 29 against Carolina in the championship game. Obviously, Final Four. I think the biggest thing, man, is just I never lost a game in Cameron. 2 years, never lost a game in Cameron. Only lost 1 ACC game my entire career, 2 years there. But the biggest Duke moment for me have to be graduation. Not even close. You know, one of the things, my original year, 2001, it was gonna fall on Mother's Day. And I just remember like, man, I'm gonna give my mom the best gift ever. I graduate from college on Mother's Day. Left early. I go back to school. Guess what day I graduated on?
Mother's Day.
Mother's Day. You know, it was just meant to be. But that's my biggest Duke moment. You know, and then, you know, being hired as a coach is great, to be able to coach where you played and, you know, to see it from a different perspective, just to be there with, you know, and learn from Coach K, you know, see him in a different light. Now you're in the meetings with him and, you know, watching how he operates and stuff. And you see, you know, because when you're playing for him, you know he's great. You know, as your coach is great, but just to see how that mind works. And he's just incredible, man.
I want to end it on this note. This is the last question I got, and this is just a serious question though. But like, you mentioned your grandma was your best friend, and she got to watch you get drafted and play in the league. Speak a little bit about what do you think? Like, what do you think you were to her? Like, your success and
everything. I was the first grandson, so you know she spoiled me. Like, they won't say it, but everybody knows I'm the favorite. I'm the favorite grandchild, and everybody knows that. And man, it broke my heart. She was suffering from diabetes, and I just went overseas. I literally just left her, you know, visiting the hospital, just left her. And they knew when I was here that she was gonna pass. But my grandmother told them not to tell me that. Because she said, if you tell Will that he's not getting on that plane, and he's probably not going to play this whole year, and he's got to take care of his, you know, family, whatnot. And so I arrived in France. I probably sat down 30 minutes in my apartment in France and got the call. My grandmother had passed, man, and it probably took me a whole year to get over it because now my grandma passed. I'm not in the league. And so the only people I really got to lash out to and take my anger out on is coaches on this team. Yeah. And it's unfair to them, but you know, I did that a lot, you know, during that year. And we probably could have had a better year, but all my emotions, I let it out.
Yeah.
on the court, but in a negative way. And I'm 22 dealing with this by myself, you know, and it was tough. And I wasn't a great teammate, wasn't a great leader. So that was a really, really tough year, losing her.
Yeah. Came out at a bad time too. Probably a little depressed coming out the league, and I can see
and
that. Yeah.
you know, it's funny. You got the hat on. You know, hooping is healing. I needed it. You know, really to heal, but I also probably needed some, you know, therapy or somebody to talk to, some counseling. And back then, it wasn't a thing. You know,
It wasn't cool to be depressed back then.
That's right.
You had to hide that.
Nobody talked to that. You know, as a black man, you got to be strong and get through it. And I think, you know, a lot of guys went through that, and some of them ended up ruining their lives behind it.
Yeah.
But it was, I was able to, you know, get back, and I can remember like going into free agency that summer, and some of the feedback from other teams just coming from my agents, like, you know, Will, they're putting it out there like, you know, you're a bad guy, and you know, I had never heard that, you know, about myself, but when I was like, I understand why they would say that. I was going through a lot and just really didn't handle it well. And I remember having to go and play somewhere I really didn't want to play, but I did it. You know, obviously it's a good job. I was playing in a small town in Greece, and like 3 months in, I pulled my hamstring. I'm like, man, I got to get over this. You know, pulled my hamstring, go home, and this time, instead of just rehabbing, I really just took the time to get my mind right, you know, and figure out, you know, talk to somebody, and because I'm still grieving, really.
Yeah.
Didn't know, but I'm really grieving. I'm depressed. You know, I've lost my best friend. You know, not in the league, and
Hard trying to suppress all that stuff, and then daily it's just kind of spewing out sporadically, you know, out of nowhere.
And get my mind right, and you know, just really got in my Bible. The next place I go, Israel. Ironic is that, right? I go to Tel Aviv, Israel. I replace AJ Guyton from Indiana. Had a tough left to right cross. You know, I replaced AJ. Play on a great team. We lose to Maccabi Tel Aviv in the finals. That has Maceo Bastion, Anthony Parker, just some big time European guys. And so have a good year. Still wasn't all the way healthy. The next year, go to Jerusalem. This is all God. Go to Jerusalem. Have the best year of my career. I did the 50, 40, 90. You know, 50% from the field, 40 from three, 90% from the free throw line. Best year of my career. And it just started to take off from there. But it's like, got my mind right. God sent me to the Holy Land.
Yeah.
You know, he
right.
sent me to Israel. So I'm a big believer in God, and everything, you know, happens for a reason. You know, before I get off here, man, I've always prayed, and God has delivered like everything I prayed for. This last time, when I was finishing the season at Duke, my prayer was different. I said, I didn't ask for anything. I just said, you know, God, put me where you need me. And it brought me back home, and we built the Blue 5 basketball app.
Yep.
And now I'm back, you know, in the community with the kids doing stuff. We got camp going on now. So, you know, and
doing a good job by the way, too. Watch a lot of clips. I love it.
Thank you. Appreciate that, man. And so it's just, you know, sometimes we just gotta, and you gotta stay with it, man. You gotta remain faithful and just watch it work. I mean, everything we talked about on here today, I'm still a product of teenage parents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you listen to that story, you know, you think I'm coming from a 2-parent household or whatnot, product of 2 teenage parents trying to figure it out. You know, but yeah. No, it was big time, man.
I appreciate it. This was dope, man. I just think this is a amazing episode, man. Like I mean, last night was good too. I like doing this more so for history.
Yeah.
Once again, David, he's born and he's Peach Orchard Road to the deaf of him. You know what I'm saying? I came in here later, but I love the history. I love Augusta. I think it's just a beautiful city to me, and I feel like I come from the best city in the world. But I love Augusta. I love the history. I love to hear your story.
Yeah, and I think storytelling is so valuable. You know, everybody's is doing it now, but it's so valuable because most of us get our inspiration from hearing somebody's story, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think even with you talking about some of the older stuff, you're like, man, I ain't talked about this in years, but you know, you have talked, but it's more about what are you doing now, or we focus on maybe the NBA Duke stuff, but just hearing you growing up can inspire somebody. You know, I didn't know you was on Skinner Mill or had an apartment small, so they had to have the meeting at Lee's house. I never knew that.
Real talk, man. I moved literally every year from like 7th grade, you know, through 12th grade. I like moved to a different location every year. Single parent home. Mom was just, you know, trying to make it, trying to get it done. And I never tell a lot of these stories. Like people, sometimes when you go to Duke, they think you grew up with a silver spoon in your mouth. You know, obviously I'm the total opposite.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, it's funny, you know, a lady tells me she's shocked because I was a Duke kid, you know.
Right.
Like, we're allowed to change our environment. And then who knows what can happen if you put us in the right environment. Same thing I was talking about, putting those players in winning cultures. It changes everything.
I do got
Go ahead.
one thing. I don't know. Maybe you can separate it from the interview because you know, in the vein of the whole GOAT month that I be doing, different posts or whatever, highlighting you guys. I think lost in all that is that you are really the originator of the Clash to me. So
I remember that.
So I always was wondering, like, what made you? Of course, you actually did it on a larger scale. You know, you wanted to do bowling, softball, basketball. What was the idea behind that originally?
I was looking for something for everybody to get together and really have fun, and I was hoping to make it like a annual weekend event. You know, because I had seen some of my friends, you know, do like softball tournaments. You know, Jason Terry had the big, you know, celebrity game when he played with the Hawks in Atlanta, where he brought the pros in. You know, so I was trying to do something different that brought the community together. So I did the bowling, you know, because it gave the older people something to do that, you know, couldn't hoop or whatever, you know, brought them together. And the basketball is more for y'all. You know, now I get to bring that young group, you know, out here. And, but, you know, you did a good job, man, with really taking that thing and running with it. And it's a thing, and people look forward to it. So I think it's great. I just think, you know, the city needs more things to bring it together. And if you can bring different generations together for a weekend, and I think you know, it'll be really good for the city.
Right.
You know, because you got sometimes the old generation hate on the young generation and all that, but we're not gonna grow as a city.
Right.
And I'm big on the basketball community, and like one of the things when AB was talking about the list, I was just hoping it was really informative and educational, because me myself, I'm a basketball junkie, so I was like, I hope, you know, he's gonna educate me on, you know, but one person is just hard because you're gonna miss certain things. And I was on the show, and you know, he thought I was mad at him because where he had me. I'm like, you know, it is what it is. And I was just telling him some things. I was like, AB, do you realize, like, you know, I played in the Nike Hoop Summit. I say, which one you think is harder, the McDonald's game or the Nike Hoop Summit? I say, the McDonald's game is 24, the Nike Hoop Summit is only 12. And then I got into the politics of how to make the McDonald's game, you know, because I was Oak Hill, and then my coach was like, well, you're not gonna make the McDonald's game now. I was like, why? He was like, they're not gonna give Duke 4 commits in the game. He was like, is Cans Roy Williams gonna call? You know, Dean Smith they're not gonna give. He's like, well, I'm telling you, he's like, I had 3 guys on this team that were deserving. Corey Alexander, Ben Davis, and Junior Burrow. And he said, they told me I had to pick 2. Because we can't give you 3 from one high school in the game. And I was like, nah, and it would happen, man. I was crushed. It was like my dream. But then I make the Hoop Summit, and I was like, I don't know the research, but I want to know how many guys played in the Hoop Summit that didn't make the McDonald's game. You know what I mean? If I'm good enough to make the 12, I don't make the 24. And so it's stuff like that. And I was like,
What was he on the list?
I don't know.
5.
5. Well, that's your number, ain't it?
I was 5 in the country at one time. I'm 5 in my city.
Hey, that is that.
But it is what it is, man. And but I thought it was good because it got a buzz going.
Yeah.
But one of the guys I want to talk about on here, man, is Jeff Bolton. I don't think people realize how good Jeff was. Like for me, that was my favorite competition. We were in the same class, and the thing I loved about him is when we were in 9th grade, he may play JV or something like that. When we got in the 10th grade, I was like, man, this dude is getting better. He kept coming, kept adding to his game. And we was a junior. I was like, man, this dude is good. They never beat us or anything, but I was like, I respected his game, and he competed. A lot of times, with me, sometimes guys just kind of lay down somewhat. You know what I mean? But this dude, he was coming. And, people don't understand, like he went to College of Charles, but he had offers from Syracuse, UConn, and Pitt. He just went there because he knew he was going to play right away as a freshman. And he was like 2-3 times on whole league, man. This dude was that, man, he was good.
I see he's still like in top 5 and certain stats still, like to this day.
Man, he was good, man. He was really good, but he was a late bloomer.
Yeah,
just kept getting better, and then in college he was really good. And
I think that's who Tony mentioned him.
They played together.
Yeah,
College Charles, so he saw it every day, man.
Yeah.
This dude was good, man. Another dude don't get talked about a lot. When we were in middle school, I thought this dude was the best, like, prospect, this guy named Antoine Dent. He was 6'1" guard in middle school. Like, he was in the passing lanes, dunking on breaks. And then our freshman, he was 6'5". So he was growing, and I'm like, man, this dude gonna be really good. And then it just kind of stopped. Sophomore, he just stopped improving.
That's good, though. That's good history right there.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, man, this was good, man.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate the time.
To, talk, let people know some things that they wouldn't. Yeah.
I think it's funny because like you do an episode like this, and it's it's well over 2 hours, well 2:13, but you also feel like it's so much more you can ask as well. Like,
right,
it's still
like
so
I'm
much
still
more you can
sitting
talk
here,
about.
like y'all got something else, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I'm still, because I don't get to do this, I don't get to, and I wouldn't do it with anybody,
I appreciate it.
What age were you when you retired? Because I'll tell you a funny story when you tell me.
I was 32.
Okay, because I remember, I guess I could flex because we were playing pickup at AU, and you came down and played, and we were just talking. You probably didn't even know me, but that's, like you said, your goats. I don't meet your goats, but you definitely always were, nice to me. And we were just talking, and you was like, yeah, man, I got to go back overseas, man, but I ain't doing it when I'm 35. I'm trying to be done when I'm 34. So I was wondering if that was around the same age that you ended up.
And I probably wanted to go to 34 days, but I knew I wasn't gonna make it to 34. I knew I wasn't gonna make it, man. And just the way we did our bodies, we worked hard and not smart. Now they work smart and not as hard. And see a lot of guys that have longevity. Me, let's get in here and grind for 2 hours, 3 hours. Let's come back again.
Yeah.
And
I feel like it's more recovery now.
Yeah. Guys are smarter. They don't pound their body as much. Like a guy would have never went and worked out outside. I would have done that.
Right.
I can't get in the gym. All right, go outside.
Kids don't, they don't play on the course no more outside.
Yeah, like I'm taking the trash can from the park outside and put it there. I'm going by like a cove. And that's crazy to think about doing it now, but I got to get this work in. I remember leaving when I declared for the draft. I was still playing pickup at the Big Oak Park that's named after Ricky and I. Like I was still playing pickup there, outside. Yeah.
Damn.
To get a run.
Yeah.
Oh man, nah, this is dope. And if for me, this is me to you. Like, if you ever want to do it again, I'm fine with it. You might want to talk to something else, or we could work on something else you want to do, for your program or whatever. I don't mind helping out, but it's just good. There's a lot of basketball knowledge in there, and then answering and seeing that experience. I ain't gonna be a pro at basketball, so it's the closest I'm coming to it. You and Montego, the closest I came to it.
Montego, man, he was him and Rick, man. They took. They put for me, because I was coming right after. They inspired us right behind them, and I think I inspired the next generation, like Tony Mitchell, and they're like Tony Mitchell was my guy. Like I could pick Tony up and bring him to the gym too.
That's what he said,
yeah, he was playing with the stars. Like, you got to get to the airport. Okay, I'm gonna send a limo for you to get you to the airport. You need transportation to get to the airport so he can go fly with the Georgia Star. Like those was my guys. You know what I mean?
Now I'm just telling you, he did say he dropped 40 on y'all. I'm just gonna throw it out there. That's what he said. It was some Josie versus something game. He said, this is what Tony said. I ain't lying.
I wasn't playing in that game.
Now, he said all the pros with it. He said you, Montego. He said y'all won, but he said he dropped 40.
And I don't remember that.
I
don't remember that.
Hey, this is what Tony said, man.
I'm gonna tell you something we did that was real dope, man. That people don't remember. My rookie year, Montego rookie year, same NBA draft. We did a Thompson versus Augusta game.
Oh wow!
At Thompson, so it was me, Mike Curry, Gerald White, and Montego and all those guys. It's sold out in Thompson High School, and I hit a shot at the buzzer to win it. Like, it was crazy.
Wow.
And so we were supposed to do like home and home. Next year was supposed to be in Augusta, but you know how that stuff goes.
Thompson some solos.
It was done, but man, it was crazy. I remember because we had like these, raggedy reversible jersey. Like Thompson was decked out in full uniforms and team shoes.
Just for a buzzer beat.
And it was packed, man. It was.
I feel like y'all would have had the advantage, though, right?
Yeah, we had too many guys. If they're just getting to one high school, we get a whole city.
The whole city.
I just love to see, stuff like that. But man, when I was young, like Thompson was a beast.
Y'all still talk? Like you and my
Yeah. Our parents are really tight. Matter of fact, they're getting ready to go to Texas. This Mothers of the NBA group they have, they're getting ready to go to Texas to do something there. But yeah, man, there's no me without them. Him and Rick. I just believe you gotta have somebody set the bar. You gotta have bar setters, man.
Yeah.
Who are you chasing? Like, I'm working. I'm trying to be. How good am I trying to be? If you can, set your eyes on somebody and work toward that, it's more motivation, man. It'll push you if you really want it. If you're just going in the gym like, oh man, I did, like, nah, man, I'm trying to catch him.
Yeah.
And I felt like Jeff Bowden was trying to do that with me. And as a result, he kept getting better. Kept, trying to close that gap. And I respected that. Like, dang, this dude's coming. He's on his way. But it's good times, man, just to relive and talk about this stuff.
Oh, yeah,
and just to see the guys that's come through. Like I say Don, not because you're here, but like I saw that kid at 10. He's playing for the Willow Stars, you know what I mean? To see him playing at Cal, like I'm proud of that, and Darius and Aubrey and all those guys, like that makes me, feel good with Victor playing football. I took Victor on his first flight. He was sitting next to me crying. He didn't want me to see. I shouldn't put Victor out there like that. But so funny story. One of my friends called me in Minnesota, and he said, Will, the EYBL, it wasn't, I don't even think it was called the EYBL back then, but all the Nike teams were playing in Minnesota. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna bring my team up there. We're gonna get him out of school a day early, take him to Mall of America, give him a little trip. And I think Vic couldn't get out of school or something, so he was like, he's never flown. I'd stay back, fly with him. And so just those kind of things to say I was on the first flight with that kid.
Yeah.
And it just a lot of good stuff, man. A lot of good stuff.
That's dope. Yeah. I can't wait and be like, man, Will Avery took me to my first Duke game, man. Clap it up for Will Avery, man.
Put him over there with the Cameron Crazies. No, but once you get in there, man, it's going to be so tight. Just, you'll see. It's going to be different.
Yeah,
I'm going to make that happen for you.
There we go. That's all right. I make sure I got it on camera, too, so we go. Yeah. Definitely. Tag me every time I think about it. All right, man. More Masters Podcast. We out, man. Appreciate it.
Welcome to the Masters Podcast, brought by Brooke
and Bailey.